Welcome back to Hidden Power. This is a Pokemon podcast. One of the sweetest things about a new Pokemon game is seeing new evolutions for our favorite Pokemon. Today we're going to be taking a look at every single cross-gen evolution. The guiding question for this episode should be, does this new Pokemon evolution enhance the design and concept of the original Pokemon? In this video, we'll also be ranking baby Pokemon, split evolutions, regional evolutions, and whatever else technically qualifies to be on this list. If you're familiar with our tier list videos, I think you're gonna like this video. Can't wait to hear your thoughts in the comments. My name is DustyGogoat. Today I'm also with the LumiosePost and SoulSilverArt. Let's get right into this. All right, guys, today we are talking about cross-gen evolutions. So for me, I feel like at the heart of Pokemon hype is that we want more and new designs and improvements and more monsters that extend the essence of our favorite Pokemon, right? And ever since Generation 2, right, we started to get these cross-gen evolutions. We got baby forms, right? Pokemon that kind of set up and contextualized like maybe a larger Pokemon that needed like something that looked like it could actually come out of an egg. And we also got a lot of branched evolutions. And actually just some like straight up evolutions like Steelix from Onyx, right? But I do think there's another question here that, or maybe a debate that's kind of stressing me out. I just went on Bulbapedia and looked up cross-gen evolution. And the first thing right here, and I know it's not categorized as this, but it's literally the first Pokemon on this sheet, and it's Alolan Raichu. Lumi, you made this tier list and you did not include Alolan Raichu. Do you want to let me know why? Because I understand it's not I know it's not technically a cross-gen evolution because it's a regional form of a Raichu, but
and that's the answer. And that's the answer.
You just spoiled my answer.
Okay, then. Okay, so let me tell you this. I think for all intents and purposes, it's a different design. It's an extension of Pikachu. In a lot of ways,
it's not Raichu.
It's still Raichu
by classification, but it is a different design. It's a different design.
It's not a new evolution. It's still.
I know it is a new evolution. It's a new evolution because it evolves into a different Pokemon.
But here's the thing. Masuda is right here on the other side of this camera flashing up the timer at me. And if I include Alolan Raichu, then I have to include Alolan Marowak. I have to include...
I think you
and then,
should.
where's the line? I should probably include Alolan Vulpix and Alolan Ninetales because that is a macro evolution that took place in that line over time.
No.
Did you include the regional evolutions?
I did include the regional evolutions, Sneasler, Surfetch.
Well, that makes sense, though. That makes sense, though.
I think you guys are being too rigid. I think a lot of people think like this. I've got a friend, Bedford's Best, who...
This is the way.
No, it's wrong. I love the guy to death. He's my best friend. But when a new game comes out... so he replays games, and he's always like, I want to use Pokemon that I've never used before, right? And I'll be like, oh, you should use this regional form because it's so different and it plays so different and it has a different type and it looks different and it's awesome to play through with. And he's like, no, I've used Raichu and, or whatever the Pokemon is in Fire Red, Leaf Green. And I'm like, but you haven't used this Pokemon. It's completely different. It's completely, for all purposes, it's different.
I'm more with your boy Bedford.
That makes no sense.
I don't use them either because they're still the same,
but they're not.
Design, essentially.
I kind of agree because
the thing is, who do you agree with?
With Bedford, because the thing is look, here's the thing, right? Sure, the Raichu is different. The Raichu is different, but most of the playthrough, I'm going to have a Pichu or a Pikachu, and if I'm thinking in lore. I'm like, if I'm like making an anime out of my adventures, right? I've already used a Pikachu and it evolved into a Cantonium Raichu. So to catch another Pikachu is like to give a middle finger to my old buddy Raichu.
Yeah,
now Alolan Vulpix, I would disagree with Bedford. I don't know if he shares that opinion on Pokemon
he does.
like that.
He does.
He does. Then I would disagree with him there. Alolan
it's a completely different Pokemon.
It feels completely different because the whole line is different to me.
The whole line is. Anyways.
Listen, here's the thing.
I half agree with you and I half agree with Bedford.
I don't.
Because when you play through Legends Arceus, right, you're gonna end up with a regional form of of a starter Pokemon, right? Like Lumi, I feel like you fell in love with Hisuian Samurott.
I did.
Because it is a different Pokemon.
No,
no,
it's
because
the same
it's a different form.
It's literally the same Pokemon.
Yeah,
Here's the
I
thing.
don't know. I disagree.
You have to look at it like this, Dusty. The way that most people count it like that is because that's how Game Freak also it's all categorized.
No.
They're categorized.
I know, but this is, as I get older, right? In my old age, I'm starting to get really frustrated. I'm really starting to get frustrated with the Pokemon community because we don't like to do anything that's outside of a classification. But there's different ways to interpret this, right? And I feel like this is a completely different segment.
But also they have to have categories so that we can know what is what.
I know, but I think there's room for interpretation, is my point. What is a Pokemon theory other than making sense of something that already exists?
I will say this. I agree. But that's the thing is you're basing that in theory, whereas for the purpose of this video, I think we should do conceptually. And conceptually, they are, two different things. Alolan Raichu is not
that's their rules,
cross-gen evolution. Right.
I don't see him as rules. I also like to break rules.
I will say with the Samurott thing, a big reason I love Hisuian Samurott is because when I was a 10-year-old playing Black and White, I really liked Samurott, but I just felt like I was like, it is disappointing to me. I was like, I like where this is, but I feel like it needs a little bit more. And Hisuian Samurott was literally that more. Versus like with Gallade and Gardevoir.
Sure.
Gallade is not an improvement on Gardevoir. It's an entirely different design. Thing.
Yeah. No,
I'll give you this,
I think that's
Dusty.
fair.
They aren't actually classified as cross-gen evolutions. Like that's a fan-made thing.
Totally.
But
yeah.
The regional forms are forms. It's even in their name. So like when you go, let's take Raichu for instance. Yeah. It's Alolan Raichu. It's still Raichu.
No,
So that's why.
I totally understand that. To me, and this is definitely
it's
a tandem.
A new Pokemon.
I understand
it's a new form of an existing Pokemon. It's a form change.
I look at every new design of a Pokemon or form or whatever you want to call it as a new Pokemon. Because I think in a lot of ways, in lore, the way they evolve, it's all the same thing. It's an exposure to something that causes their DNA to change. And their DNA is close enough to Raichu to still be Raichu, right? But it's still different. It's just like, I don't know.
I will say...
Because for this argument, Wiglet and Diglett look very similar, but they're different Pokemon.
Oh, no,
but you could argue...
That's different.
Why is it different?
Because they're two different creatures altogether, and they're different named, and they're
I agree with
Pokemon.
you. I agree with you, but
but
they look similar, so some people might. And I remember having conversations about this. This whole segment might just be a different episode, but like,
dude, you can.
But
I
actually feel so passionate about this because we had conversations about this when the convergence were announced. We were talking to anyways, like on a podcast, we were talking about like how whatever it's called, Toadscroll was like a waste of his space, right? It's like, why not give us something that's completely different?
That's just because the concept is stupid.
Yeah.
not because
I don't think it is, but that's a debate for another time.
Yeah.
I will say this, Dusty. I will say that my first sin was because this episode was kind of an idea I proposed, and my first sin was probably not laying out for you that I would be going strictly by the mechanics and rules of the coding of the game. So that's on me. But I will say, in theory, I think that there is an argument to present that Alolan Raichu is misclassified, and Alolan Raichu is actually, ready, here's a clip, Alolan Raichu is actually not a Raichu, but another form altogether.
Oh. No. New theory video coming to LumiosePost.
It's already up there. Go watch it.
Oh, really? Did you actually make that video already?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so...
It has a name.
But to go back...
its own name.
Okay, what we're going to be looking at today, right, is cross-gen evolutions. But that extends to baby forms. That extends to just standard evolutions, right? What is it?
Yeah, regional evolutions.
Yeah, it extends to regional evolutions. It extends to split evolutions. The idea, and this is where my brain's fixating on, when any sort of evolution, let's say, not form, any sort of evolution that is added, an evolutionary stage that is added to a Pokemon's line, maybe not even a generation later because of Dipplin and Applin and whatever, but like any Pokemon that gets another form that extends the the evolutionary line,
Dipplin
that's what we're going to be taking a look at today. And the idea is, does it improve the line? Does it give no change to the line, or does it hurt the line? That's what we're going to be talking about. Can't wait to hear what you guys have to say in the comments below. But I will say, listen, this is one of the coolest things. Like, there was an era before Megas, before new forms, before more new gimmicks, before regional forms. All we had were cross-gen evolutions.
And this is the best.
And it was great. I mean, dude, even now, I promise you, if tomorrow they reveal, hey, there's a Mega, I don't know, a Mega,
Magmortar.
I can't think of a second stage Pokemon. What's a two-stage, Mega Magcargo.
Oh,
sure,
yes.
People might get hyped. But if tomorrow they reveal a Magcargo evolution,
dude, and
it's a
lava golem.
So much better. That's what I want.
It stands up and it has arms now.
Well, and see, that's actually another thing too, is that, like, you know, these cross-gen evolutions give so much more creative liberty, because you can now go in a completely different direction with them on. You can do split evolutions too, right? Like before Snorunt evolved into Glalie, but now a female Snorunt can get its own special evolution in Frost. It just really conceptually changes everything more than a Mega does.
Completely. They change completely. A Mega it's also more of the other.
It's necessary for, you know, more than just our nostalgia. It's also necessary for a competitive scene. You know, Primeape is a Pokemon that's been left behind for a while now. It gets Annihilape in Scarlet and Violet, and guess what? Annihilape is one of the best Pokemon in the metagame. So, you know, it's just perfect.
For me, what it is like I imagine theoretically. Okay, this is where Pokemon Twitter goes crazy. Theoretically, every Pokemon has like an infinite amount of like split evolutions, cross-gen evolutions. Like
it can.
Like theoretically, that's what this all is. Like obviously, there's rules that a Pokemon can only evolve twice maximum. Like it can't have 3 evolutions. It can't have 4 stages.
It's an unspoken rule because it's not like
because it hasn't happened. And I think
it's a rule until Game Freak goes, hey, you know what?
Gen 10 it's happening.
2000th Pokemon, we're gonna make it evolve 3 times.
Yeah.
You know?
Golden Go.
Golden Go.
Oh no.
Golden Go.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Dusty Gold, good and go. But like the essence here is that like there's so much potential to this, right? And it's like what it does, it is beautiful. It's like, okay, so usually a Pokemon takes inspiration from like a plant or, you know, something iconic or like an everyday material or object or an animal. And the idea is I'm looking at this list as like an example. I don't know. Honestly, Applin might be the best version of this, right? Applin has a split evolution and either turns into something that looks more like the worm, or it turns into something that an apple would naturally evolve into, which is an apple pie. But then you got, okay, in this different region, actually Applin can now turn into a candied apple. And then it evolves even further, right? Like, theoretically, you could also have an Applin evolve into... I feel like I've seen art. I don't know if this actually makes sense.
But so many.
I've seen like regional forms of Applin where it's like a pumpkin. I've seen Applin evolve into literally any sort of fruit. And then you have Pokemon like Eevee, which we have seen. Eevee is kind of known to just evolve into all of these different types, right? I guess I'm looking at this list here of the cross-gen evolutions, and they are kind of obscure. And I think maybe that's what we'll talk about today. Like, there are some evolutions that maybe feel unnecessary. I'm looking at Blissey.
That's exactly what we're gonna do. Don't spoil your answers.
Yeah,
that's true.
But and then I'm just kind of going through this list, and it's just kind of exciting. And then there's also some the region. So Galarian Lanoon all of a sudden can evolve into Obstagoon, which is really cool. And then the implication there is that, does like the standard Hoenn Lanoon, could that have a different evolution? Like a standard evolution in Hoenn? I guess theoretically it could have that if the conditions were severe enough for it to evolve that way.
No, that's the thing. Like, the implication behind it is that, like, any Pokemon can evolve and you just haven't gotten the requirements yet. Dipplin is not a new evolution. Applin could always evolve into Dipplin. You just couldn't find a sweet apple or not a sweet apple, excuse me, a syrup apple, whatever it's called.
Because we can't go to Kitakami
in Scarlet and Violet.
Exactly.
Or Sword and Shield.
Yeah. So there's a lot of really great magic here. And listen, that's why I push back and I say, well, if your Pikachu can evolve differently in Alola, it is kind of an extension of what this is, not by classification. I'm not dense. I understand it. It's not classified as a new Pokemon, but I would say, you know, if Raichu was just left on the island for a couple more generations or however it actually works, it would eventually be changed enough to be its own Pokemon.
This is all I have to say. Last thing on this, just like maybe, I don't know, there's scientists out there that can help you out. I don't even know the science technically, but the thing is it's like genetically still a Raichu.
I understand that, yes, but I'm looking at it. Yeah.
It's like an animal that has a variation of itself. It is still that animal, though. Yeah. Like, that's all.
No, I totally understand that, but
it just feels weirder to us because it, you know, with a Pokemon, it's like in the real world. An example of this is like a bird's beak is now slightly curved, so it's like the super minor change. But in the Pokemon world, it's like, oh, now it's got the psychic type and it learns all these new moves. You know,
it's a new thing. I mean,
right? Because in the real animal world, they would classify them probably as another animal.
Yeah,
because it's like the big changes. They're like, oh, that's a different kind of bird.
And I think that's what it comes down to. Like a Alolan Executor feels significant enough to be its own Pokemon, right? Alolan Raichu feels significant enough. I think like Muck. No, that's a bad example. I'll give you this.
Agree,
no. I agree with you. Anything like the only regional forms that I think could fit into what we're talking about today, and I won't harp on it much longer, are things that evolve from the base form. Like, come on, you look at this line.
Alolan Marowak.
Like, you see how Poliwag evolves into Poliwhirl, and then it splits into these two different things. Mm-hmm. Like, obviously, they're different enough to classify, but I feel like if you just look at this feels the same thing to me. This feels like the same thing. Pichu.
Exactly. It feels like the same thing. It doesn't feel like it's a different addition to the line.
No, it feels like the same thing as the split between Poliwrath and Poly.
Oh, no, it's not at all.
I think that's
split evolution.
The difference between the Raichus are so different. But, like, look at it, like, with Weezing. Like, you know, like...
Weezing looks so different.
Really feel... I do not know.
No, it doesn't. It just has a top hat.
It looks so different. It's got a different color
I do not know how you think that Raichu looks so different from Alolan Raichu. They look the same. They're both...
Right.
They don't. It's got a different color palette.
And especially... No,
I'm now targeting... It surfs. It's got psychic type. It's a completely different Pokemon. It's got different eyes.
I'm now targeting the Weezing thing. The Weezing just went to his local lids at the mall and bought a hat.
All right, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that this is taking so long, but I'm not sorry for the opinion, because I do think all I'm trying to say is what I care about when we look at these cross-gen evolutions is that if a Pokemon is getting a new evolution that is a different design, it's essentially the same thing as what we're talking about.
We're going by the books here. We're going by what Papa Masuda says, and Papa Masuda says Alolan Raichu's a form, not a cross-gen evolution. I do want to clear up for the listener, too, that, hey, if we put something like hurts the line, that is not the equivalent to putting it in, like, F tier, right?
No.
We're not ranking it based on the design. We're ranking it on, like, how it affects the greater line. So likewise too, if I think something improves the line and I say it improves the line, that does not mean I think it's an S tier Pokemon. I just think it made the line better, you know?
Mm-hmm. I'll be playing by those rules. I kind of want to go Dex order, but this might be a little bit, I think there's some...
I swear I just dropped the images in. I don't know why they put them out. Oh, I know why.
It's probably like the number of it.
Yeah, I think like for example with Dipplin, it's number 1011, and so I think the computer reads it as it begins with a 1, so it's above you know Munchlax, which begins with a 3 or a 4.
Silly
that makes
computers.
Sense. All right, so I guess this is looking like the first. No, it's got to be Pikachu. Is Pichu? Oh no, these are Gen 2. All right,
this
is getting so
improved
confusing.
the line.
Anyways, Crobat is first. Crobat. Does Crobat
line.
improve the Zubat and Golbat line? It gets a
absolutely.
You think it improves?
Oh,
it
yes.
Does. This is a matter of opinion in a lot of ways, though, as well.
Oh yeah, definitely.
You know, like people could be like, I hate Crobat, and I like the other ones better.
You know, Dusty, if you just scrolled around on that page, you'd find Crobat on there.
I know, but it's so out of order. I'm just gonna go.
You're out of order.
I'm just gonna pull up this, and then I can just scroll because it is.
I know that's like a famous Lumi comeback, but that one specifically worked really well.
Thank you.
Yeah, your brain is out of order.
You're out of order.
Let's see if I can zoom in a little bit here. Okay, cool.
In many ways, I feel like people like use that, like British people, like you're out of order.
Do they?
Yeah. All right, so
are you mental?
So for me, for Crobat, like I am glad. So here's the thing: I'm glad Golbat gets an evolution, and I have always liked Crobat, but it does feel like one of these evolutions that are kind of a sidestep, right? It doesn't feel like a natural progression of. I think Golbat.
You also have to talk about that a little bit. I think when a Pokemon evolves in a different region, like cross-gen evolutions, most of the time they take on a little bit more different vibes to them. I don't know. I think that's on purpose.
No, well, I think seeing Zubat and Golbat having the same color, and then seeing Crobat get tinier almost.
Crobat is different. It's pretty different.
It swaps the colors too. It becomes purple with blue wings instead of blue with purple wings,
which is cool.
Definitely always throws me off.
So here's the thing.
I will say one thing.
I think it improves the line, but I think there's space here for us to eventually randomly get like a split evolution that maybe looks more.
We can always
rather than being really agile, instead it's more of like the vampire of Golbat, like the vampire aesthetic of Golbat.
I think focus on the mouth, like give it a split evolution that leans more into the mouth, because like the mouth got bigger and then all of a sudden it gets really tiny, which I don't mind. Because to me, look, here's a fun fact about me. I think Zubat is objectively like kind of cute. I think Golbat is. I don't like Golbat. I do not like Golbat.
You don't like
and this is also an interesting thing.
It's intense.
Well, see, that's what I was going to bring up. This is also an interesting thing because I'm kind of coming at this different from y'all because like I came in Gen 3. So in a way, Crobat is not a cross-gen evolution for me.
For you.
Crobat is really just interesting. An evolution. You know what I mean? Like Crobat, Zubat, Golbat, to me, are like, I understand this isn't the case, but it's like Squirtle, Wartortle, Blastoise. It just is, you know?
You sound a little bit like me, man.
Yeah, a little bit. But no, it makes sense because of,
No, I know what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah, like, because I'm coming at it, like, when I was coming into, I remember this distinctly. Electivire was like, it was like it had just come out, because I remember people being like, yo, this is sick with Electivire. So it was still new. It was like we were in that phase of Gen 3 where they were starting to throw the Gen 4 stuff in there. So like Munchlax was already a thing, even though it wasn't in the games. Bonsly was a thing, even though it wasn't in the games. Electivire was just starting to kind of be pushed. So yeah, that kind of changes my perspective on a lot of things.
Right.
No, I'm totally with you. I think that
Dusty, if you go back a few, there was a good picture of their like models and their like how they're compared. Crobat looks so different.
It does.
Like down this right here. And that's what I mean. Like they have like a vibe that is. Some evolutions have a very different thing going on,
which is fine. But here's the thing.
No, absolutely.
I think it does improve the line for sure.
I'm actually like, I do think it improves the line, but it's like very small. Because I love Zubat and Golbat. I love Golbat so much, actually. I don't know if you guys remember our Gen 1 tier list, I think, but I just was awakened to how cool Golbat is, because it is actually really, really awesome.
I think Golbat was never really my favorite. I do like this expression on it a little bit more. It looks like a sleepy bat that just woke up. Yeah. It looks like a little drunk. But yeah, Golbat's never been my favorite, so I do like Crobat.
I think it's underappreciated.
And we understand that like Crobat is one letter away from Acrobat.
Yes.
So good.
It's
so it improves the line.
It's so different. So it is like what you said. Like there could be another evolution that feels more like it could evolve from Golbat. You know what I mean? Into a more flow, I guess.
And I think we can get it. I definitely think we can get it. Well, here's the other thing. The evolution, the way it evolves is through happiness. So I wonder.
Which feels so weird for this
That
line.
is weird.
Like, they introduced the day-night cycle. You'd think they'd be like, level up Golbat at night. But
or
instead
a day,
they're just like,
day.
It's happy.
Level it up during the day where it's like, now
But it's nocturnal. It's a bat.
No, I know, but like Acrobat.
I get it.
Crobat feels like it has more energy. Like it feels like a
I get the day
thing.
Yeah. Because maybe a night one would be more creepy and
exactly, yeah. But listen, we can't be spending 10 minutes on every single one. You guys know the drill. Obligatory. This won't take very long. Yeah, but there's a lot here. There's a lot here.
It's true.
Pichu improved the line. It's the best thing ever created.
I do think Pichu is pretty great.
Stop that. Are you serious right now?
Pichu is.
You don't like
here's
Pichu?
Here's the thing. I think this might be known about me. If it isn't known about me, then it'll be known now. I don't like baby Pokemon. 9 out of 10 times, I think people are always like, "Ooh, I'd like a baby Lapras." No, that's stupid. Why? Don't waste a slot of the dex with a baby Lapras. I don't want that.
Baby Lapras would be cute though.
It would be cute, but I don't want. It's a waste of a deck slot to me. I have a
No.
Lapras. I don't need it.
No, I'm not with you.
Pichu, but I know you're not. I know this is a hot take, but Pichu is amazing. And again, the interesting thing
I love
is
Pichu.
this might be because
so
it was
great.
not an addition to me, right? Like when I came into Pokemon, Pichu, Pikachu, Raichu was a thing.
Yep.
Do you know what Pichu feels like to me? It just feels like Pawmi, Pawmo, Pawmot. That's what it feels like. And the whole line in general. I am not a Pikachu fan.
That's because you're a bad person.
That is crazy, Soul, because they all have such different designs.
They do, but they're so blah. They're just blah.
I think I don't know. I think they're really good. I've used them in ROM hacks where you get a Pichu early, and it's really fun. I like Pichu a lot. I think it totally.
Where am I going to put it though? Where am I going to put it? Because
I think it definitely improves the line.
Do you think it hurts the line, Soul, or do you think it just doesn't give it a change?
Look at how cute this is. Like, look at the Pokemon back to back.
I think it hurts the line.
What?
Yeah, because I think of Gorochu, bro. I think of freaking Gorochu and how if Pichu didn't exist, we could have Pikachu, Raichu, and Gorochu, and it would be so much better.
But
think about it. Think about it. Pichu is so boring. Wouldn't you rather have an evolution?
I mean, that's kind of fair.
I think it hurts the line because there's no point to it at all, and it's not even a good design. So it's just
first off, I think it is a cuter design than Pikachu.
I think though. My thing is, I think Raichu. I wouldn't like Raichu as a mid stage, honestly. So I would just counter that and say Gorochu should not exist. Instead, they should make a Mega Raichu that has Gorochu's design.
I agree.
I like that. That's the only way they could do it, actually, at this point.
Or a regional
it is.
Raichu,
But I'm saying I think I'd
prefer
prefer that because I wouldn't like if Raichu was made a middle stage. It doesn't look like a middle stage to me.
Yeah.
I just don't think it should exist.
In Gen 1, it does, I think.
I don't need Pichu to exist.
This is interesting. I don't know how to do the math on this because
there's no math.
We have two saying that it improves the line, so we're just gonna put it in improves the line because I don't know how to math that.
That's fine. It'll just be
because it's not tiers.
Voting.
I do see what you're saying though, Soul. I do see how Pichu. This is the case for a lot of babies that they just feel kind of irrelevant, but I do think Pichu is one of the good ones. I definitely think so.
One of the good ones. Pichu's a homie, Soul.
Nah.
Pichu's a homie.
I know what you mean, but I just don't feel the shit.
That's fine. Yeah, that's fine. I think it improves the line. Was that improves the line or I like it? That's tough.
Sure.
You know what? I might just say it gives no change. Because I like
dang, we have one for improves, one for hurt, and one for gave no change.
That's where we'd go.
I suppose we'll meet in the middle and say gave no change because that way
it doesn't matter. People are here. Yeah, people are here for the conversation.
Lumi, we could make a new tier there and just put neutral. I'm just saying.
Or can't agree.
Yeah, we can.
Yeah, we don't need to.
The comments can decide.
We'll just leave it right there. I'll jump ahead. I say Cleffa and Igglybuff hurt the line. It's just a waste.
I don't think they, but being a waste, I don't think necessarily hurts the line. I would say they give no change. Like I do not look at Cleffa and go, this has ruined Clefairy for me. But I definitely don't look at it and think this makes Clefairy
It's funny because I'm with Soul on this, where I'm like, what if Wigglytuff evolved even further? That would be kind of nice.
And it could. It very
I think
well
Wigglytuff looks like a final evolution.
No, I think
that's
Clefable,
where I'm like, it hurts the line because of that. Because it could go they could go further, and Cleffa is going to hold it back.
They're cursed to be 400 BST Pokemon for the rest of their lives.
Yeah. Are they only 400 BST?
Probably somewhere around there.
Clefable's kind of broke.
Yeah, I don't know about
Clefable. Yeah, maybe it's 500.
Listen, Clefable's different though. I could see Clefable staying as the final evolution. It's true. I just don't like Cleffa at all, and I think it brings
Clefable's base 483. Get out of here.
Yeah, that's not very high.
Cleffa is...
That's pretty high.
I just think...
Does Cleffa bring anything at all, you know? No.
I don't think it brings anything, but I don't think it takes away. But since y'all both think that it does take away, then that's 2 votes for takes away. So put it there, of course. But I just wanted to voice that. While I am for going me, again, with the votes, I disagree.
I think the baby Pokemon, like when they were introduced in Generation 2, the idea was like, let's make these like little cute Pokemon to appeal to a different type of person who likes this like baby doll thing. And I think the mistake was they were like, let's take a cute Pokemon and make it even cuter. But I think that doesn't make sense to me because Clefairy is already perfectly cute and could come out of an egg. Like, to me, I'm looking at it like a Lapras, a Tauros isn't going to come out of an egg fully grown. A Snorlax
is a mammal.
Good. That's a good point. So I mean,
it's a cow coming out of an egg anyway.
So Cleffa and Igglybuff are redundant to me.
Absolutely.
That's where I come down on it. Where I think, just to push back, Pichu is a completely different design from Pikachu.
No, it's
I agree.
Look at it, Soul. Look, there's nothing. They don't have. It's got pink cheeks instead of red. It's got completely different ear shapes. Its head looks different. It's got a different colored tail.
Different, but
it's got a different neck palette. It's black and it's so different. It's so different.
I get what you're saying.
It's
like, its
so
proportions are different, but it's literally the same thing.
It's like, not though. It's not the same thing because it's different.
There's nothing to make it special. Or
you must hate the Bulbasaur line.
No.
Because it's like the same thing just gets... I mean, if this is the same thing, then the Bulbasaur line's the same thing.
Like, this is the same thing. I actually don't even know...
Fan art, bro. That's fan art.
It's not fan art.
They added... Yeah, it is. Look at what
No, there's 2 in between here that are fan art. But here's the thing. I don't know which one's real and which one's fake.
I do. And the ones up top are not.
Every other one is the real one.
Yeah.
Well, they all look this. They literally all.
No,
look
I agree.
The same
Obviously,
this is all the same.
This is so much worse than.
I'm actually getting
worst
upset
offender.
Yes, exactly.
I'm not saying that. Obviously.
Wait, we need to not be going back to Pichu. We need to be only trekking forward.
True.
But first, I offer a question. Do we all agree that the Cleffa line and the Igglybuff line are supposed to like be kind of counterparts in a way? Not version exclusives, but counterparts.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. But again, but why are they both pink?
Well,
they look identical.
I just looked it up, and Clefable has a base stat of 483, and Wigglytuff has a base stat of 435. And I don't like to throw around the P word, but that feels Pokemonist to me.
What do you mean?
Like, that feels like they are being discriminative to Wigglytuff. If they're supposed to be counterparts, why does Wigglytuff not have the same base stat total as Clefable?
Then they're probably not counterparts. I think
this feels like a separate but equal argument to me. This is wrong. I hate that they've done this.
Yeah, I think they hurt the line.
Justice for Wigglytuff in the comments, because it's better looking than Clefable anyways. We all know it.
Yeah, I think they hurt the line just because they're like, it's like you made a small cute thing that evolves into a small cute thing that evolves into a medium-sized thing. I don't know. It feels really redundant to me. But here's the thing. I'm the one
straight up hurt the line.
I'm the one who pitched to put baby Pokemon on this list, just for the record. Blossom is a split evolution.
It's an offense to the line. It should be its own thing. Why is it here? Why is it with these guys? It should be its own thing. It looks nothing like Oddish and Gloom. It loses a typing. Like, it literally goes from a grass poison type to a grass type. What?
Has that ever happened?
What are you doing, Blossom?
Has a Pokemon?
No, I'm pretty sure Blossom's the only Pokemon to do that. There are Pokemon that change their typing, like Scyther goes, you know, grass flying to grass, or bug flying to bug rock or bug steel, right? But this is the only Pokemon that I know of that goes grass poison to pure grass. And again, it just, look, I have nothing against Blossom. I think it's a cute Pokemon, but it should have been its own thing. I feel like they just went, okay, well, Sunkern evolves with the Sunstone. We want another Pokemon that evolves with the Sunstone. You know, we got this Blossom. Maybe just give that to an old grass type, make it evolve. It also makes the Bellsprout line feel less fair. Like, these were supposed to be counterparts, and now Bellsprout's left behind.
It's interesting you keep bringing that up, because that is a thing that, like, but it is a thing that that counterpart Pokemon don't always get the fair treatment in later generations. That is a real thing. But I think it's because in a certain region they're counterparts, but they're not beholden to that long term unless they have a direct rivalry, like Seviper or Zangoose. So I'll give you this. I think Blossom, actually, I think their thought process was probably, okay, Vileplume has a giant hat, or it's got a giant flower on its head, kind of like a woman's hat. What if instead of a hat, like a big hat, it was a flowing dress?
The hula?
What if it was a flowing dress? So they put the flower under, like, at the bottom of it. Like, this looks like a fuchsia.
I have a lot of.
So I can kind of see
the flowers are still on the top of its head, though.
I know, but then they said they can't be bald, so they gave it new flowers.
It can't be bald.
Imagine if it was bald. That would be crazy.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. It was supposed to be a counterpart to the Bellsprout line, right?
Oh, I see where you're going with this.
The beta one did have a split evolution that they cut.
I do remember that.
So so
just
beta,
like sucky.
So Weeping Bell in the beta version of the Gen 2 games had a split evolution separate from Victory Bell,
and it looked horrible.
Yeah,
I don't think it was absolutely horrible. It was definitely weird.
Technically, they just should have cut Blossom too.
Yeah.
But they left Blossom because they were counterparts, whatever. But they
wanted to do something with the Sunstone too. Like, it can't be only Sunkern, because then it's like, why is this a random outlier? You know?
Right.
Yeah.
Here's the thing about Blossom. It had to be changed because the color of its skin, and that really hurts what it looks like. I don't know if you know this, but before it looked like part of the line.
Sure.
And it even has the same flowers on its head as Vileplume, so it's like a different version. Also, Johto had very like South American vibes to it, even though obviously this is hula. But it's like island vibes. You know, it's different.
And Japan has a good relationship with Hawaii too, so it kind of makes sense they'd want to, you know, reference their friends.
If you look up old artwork of Blossom and tell me it doesn't look more like it fits, then the green is what
look up
makes
Blossom Gen 2.
Yeah, the green is what makes you feel strange about it, and it was just because the whole Jinx thing that happened, and like it doesn't look. I don't know why this was so in the sprite.
I think it was probably Game Freak.
Oh, was it the Jinx thing that actually?
It was probably
does
Game
make
Freak
sense.
just trying to be.
They were like, oh, we need to make sure.
Because they're rapidly expanding fan base, you know.
But see, look at the original sprite that was cut is like straight up black. But the original artwork, like if you compare it to Oddish,
I remember seeing
like
this
that's
in
the same color
my
as
Prima
Oddish,
guide.
I like this better too. Like
100%.
This gives it so much more. But here's the thing: I'm here to rank Blossom as it is, not Beta.
I know.
So
I'm just giving you.
Honestly, the fact that they changed its color makes me hate it more.
This is so much better to me.
Oh,
and I bet you if they did it nowadays,
it looks like a little dancing blueberry. And
dude, look at how beautiful this is.
It wouldn't even be a problem nowadays. I don't think. I just think it was just like the height of their controversy.
I think, like Dusty, you said, look at how beautiful that is. I think Blossom's a very cute Pokemon. I love Blossom. Play new Pokemon Snap, but
does it hurt the line?
It hurts the Oddish line because it makes me look at it and go, "What are you doing there?"
Yeah, it leaves a negative feeling. I guess I don't mind.
For me,
again,
we should probably go faster. You're right.
Yeah, if it's gonna be a split evolution,
no change. I don't think it hurts. I don't think it hurts. I'm putting it in.
I think it does.
No change.
Yeah.
No,
it doesn't do anything to the line. Like you still have Vileplume.
It confuses me.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you, Lumi. This is one where I'm like, Yeah, I don't know. Because I look at Oddish and I'm like, it's so good, and I like that it changes the Gloom. It feels like a metamorphosis of somewhat. You know, it has a unique identity. I guess I would like to see
weird if you take away Vileplume. Like if you erase Vileplume from existence and you were just like, oh, Oddish, Gloom, and then Blossom.
You're like,
as like
what?
A 3-stage line. You're like,
yeah,
this makes no sense.
I think it also probably would help my opinion if, like, maybe in Gen 6 when they were revisiting old Pokemon, they gave it the fairy type. That way it, like,
it has
it
a
at least
unique
changed
identity.
the poison type for something, but now it's like, you've literally, like, I don't know. I don't care for it.
The fairy type would, like, explain why it looks so different. But just being grass
exactly.
type, I guess it would have more life to it. It wouldn't be poison.
So now it's suddenly not poisonous? That's stupid.
Yeah. Well, it evolves with the Sunstone.
It's so hard to say though, Lumi, because now we're gonna go into Politoed eventually, and it's like the same exact thing.
But Politoed is so good.
I know it's good, but it's the same idea.
Well, let's go ahead and put Blossom in before we.
I'll put it in Hurt the Line because I tend to agree with Lumi. I think it feels like a blemish. It's confusing. Like I'm like it just really is confusing.
If I just buy that thinking, like then Politoed should do the same thing because it's so different as well.
No, but
Politoed.
Different.
I'm not
is
saying
fine.
that.
Different is fine. I think Blossom.
It doesn't look like it fits.
Oh, sure.
I actually agree. And so I would put Politoed on Hurts the Line.
What?
I love Politoed. I'm not saying, look, you have to remember, we're not saying that Politoed's a bad Pokemon. We're not saying Blossom's a bad Pokemon.
Sure,
we're not saying by it improving the line that it is a good Pokemon. We are just saying, what does this do to the line? And sure, I look at it with the
it does fix the line. It's the most competitive.
But was it until it got Drizzle?
But I mean, listen, if we're gonna nitpick, it does.
But like
you're going into competitive,
and again, like I don't know. The only thing it has in common with, and so this is a leg up on Blossom, because Blossom literally has nothing in common with the other two.
Yeah,
but it's the swirl on the back and it being pure water type.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I can kind of see that. I get what you're saying.
I'm putting Politoed in improves the line though, because Poliwrath is too similar, and Politoed is like spicy different.
Yeah,
Politoed is spicy different.
What I like about
that's true too. Vileplume improved Gloom, so Gloom didn't need Blossom, but here Poliwrath kind of didn't help Poliwhirl.
Yeah.
So Politoed. So yeah, I'm gonna. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a hard thing that we're doing, no doubt. Hard task today.
I need more alcohol in my coffee for this.
For me, it improves the line.
Yeah, I think I don't know. I tend to really enjoy the Pokemon that like the split evolutions that change drastically, and
I do too usually.
And usually there needs to be there's a really we said it at the top of the show. There's usually a really specific set of of variables or variety or whatever. Like there's a specific trigger that is unique to the region or wherever it's found that causes the Pokemon to evolve, and so Politoed evolves with the King's Rock. And what I never liked is that it doesn't I don't understand why it evolves like King's Rock.
Beta design.
Oh, yeah. True. It's beta design. Okay.
But why would they get rid of the King's Rock? I would have left that in its design somewhere, you know?
Yeah, like the little crown on its head, right?
That would have been awesome.
Would have been so cool.
They could just put that crown on its head, like the exact King's Rock on right there. It'd been amazing.
And it would, they could even make it look like a little water lily. You know, I'm talking about those little flowers that grow on the lily pad, right around its little antenna, I guess.
I'm gonna say it improved the line because it does do something different. I never really liked Poliwrath, and I've used Politoed quite a bit.
I feel like I am abandoning my ideals with Blossom if I put it in improved the line.
No, but Blossom's not. But Blossom. I think what it is for me is that
the conundrum.
No, I don't. I think they're two different. They're separate cases.
You know what though? I think this confusion proves my point, and so I will stick with my gut and say that while I love Politoed, it is genuinely one of my favorite Gen 2 Pokemon.
Yeah. In
the grand scheme of things, it hurts the line. It would make more sense as a freaking regional Tadbulb evolution.
Damn.
It would.
Because it looks more similar to Bellabolt than it does.
That's true. So an element we have to be considering is the cohesion of the design, and like,
exactly.
Does it feel natural? You know what? I'm with you. It hurt the line. All right.
I don't agree with that, and that's why I put it in improve the line, because I think it improves it.
All right, we'll put it in.
So where are you at, Dusty?
I'm gonna say it. I don't know if it hurt the line because I like the design. I'm gonna say gave no change.
Gave no change. Then we'll put it in.
Changed everything.
It like diversified the evolutionary line. But here's the thing: if we get another split evolution, which let's go Gen 10. That's a fun idea. If we get a third set of split evolutions for some of these Pokemon, like that could be the one. You know?
Maybe you should edit the gave no change to say / could not agree.
Yeah, like neutral, because I feel like you need a neutral one that works.
Yeah, all right.
That's what you're thinking right now.
Espeon Umbreon definitely improved the line.
Improved, like
improved the line, baby.
Absolutely.
They're almost better than all of the.
I mean, they're definitely in my top.
I do love all the evolutions. Vaporeon and Flareon though. I love Flareon too. Cool.
Jolteon's really cool too, but these
Vaporeon's a mermaid dog.
Yeah. These are super sleek though. They're like next level. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They feel like an improvement. It's weird.
I think Eevee having 3 evolutions was cool and definitely like iconic for like Gen 1. But when in Gen 2, they didn't just give it 1 more evolution, but 2 more. Like a Pokemon that now has like 5 evolutions is still to this day like incredible, like one of a kind, right? And then
Applin's gaining on it though.
Yeah, it is gaining on a little bit. All right,
so
we agree with that. Let's move on to Slowking now. So this is what I'm totally with you now. I'm like I'm convinced that Politoed should be in Hurt the Line because Slowking actually representing in its design its evolutionary method with the King's Rock is like chef's kiss. That is what Politoed could have been.
I agree with your point. However, I still say Slowking hurt the line purely because I don't think it was needed. Can you pull them up right there? Those guys right there. So here's my thing. I think it's totally Slowpoke and Slowbro. They look like these things that can exist in the wild. I don't see why we need to touch that. Those two are great. And then they just throw in Slowking, and it's weird looking. It looks like it's unnatural. You know, it's wearing clothes. And it's not clothes.
Listen, Lumi, I hate this Pokemon so much.
You do?
I hate it, right? Yeah, absolutely.
Oh my god.
But it does make sense, though. I have to push back on what you're saying because Slowpoke and Slowbro are meant to be like, bro, like so dumb. And then Slowking
every one of our friends in college.
Yeah, exactly. And then Slowking is just like, oh, he's
like
smart
he's
now
aware,
and intelligent, and
it tells a wider story. You know?
It's more a personality change than an actual design. Well, it does change in design, but you know what I mean. Like it's more about how it's what's not attitude,
characterized.
No,
its personality, like its nature,
its temperament. Yeah, personality changes completely.
I'm with you.
Does that hurt or help the line? I don't know.
No, exactly. But I will see your argument and say that hurts the line because to me, Slowpoke is dopey. He's dumb. He's an idiot. He's failing the 4th grade. He is, and
but
this is the type of.
But you love him. But now he's smart.
Lovable.
No, he's a stupid guy.
You guys are being so inconsistent. This is literally not the Pokemon designs, but like the concept of a split evolution. I think this illustrates that perfectly, where you have one going into a natural progression and then one going into the exact opposite direction. It's kind of like the X and Y legend megas, right? It's kind of like how we have a Pokemon that is more. Do you disagree?
No, you know what's hilarious about this is it goes back to your like regional form philosophy because literally it could be a regional form of Slowbro.
It probably could.
It's the same design.
It probably could.
Except it has the tail thing on its head and some stupid floaty around its neck. Like,
and I think I agree with you. And I think if we look at like Poliwag and we look at that line, Poliwag has this very like almost boring progression all the way to its final form, and then Politoed. It's like, what's the contrast here? It's just different, but it feels like it's a separate line. Where this line here feels it's entirely cohesive, right? This feels like it could have been introduced in the same generation, and for me, that improves the line.
Nah, I say hurts.
I don't care where it goes. I said my piece.
I can't. Maybe it should be a whole different category, the neutral thing, because I'm just neutral. I don't know.
But this, you're not ranking the design. You're ranking like.
No, I know I am. I'm exactly.
You look at this, and they all look like they're definitely part of the same line. So to me, that's like, okay, you're fleshing out this Pokemon and how it fits into the world and involves.
See, to me, it's more than that though. It's not just it looking like it can be a part of the line. It's also looking at, did the line need it? And I don't think Slowpoke and Slowbro needed Slowking.
Okay, sure. Listen, here's the thing. If we're going to get through this, I really don't care where things get placed. I think we all just say our piece.
We're not going to
and move on. This isn't an actual tier list, so like it doesn't. We don't need to like debate where it should go. I'm just thinking out loud. Like I think we're just never going to get through this.
Wait, but where is Soul's answer though? You know, just so
I think he said it gives
no
have his change. Answer. He said neutral.
Yeah, I guess neutral.
Okay.
All right. Next we have Steelix and we have Scizor, which are very cool. And again, these are the type of evolutions like Crobat that feel like just your natural progression, right? You have a Pokemon like Onix. It's this giant sand worm, right, like a dragon, and it's made of rock. And then over time, the rock hardens. It refines to become steel. This is absolutely a natural progression of the line. I think it is.
Oh yeah.
I think it's a no-brainer.
I agree. It improves the line, and the cool thing is not only does it, and this goes for both Onix and Scyther, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Not only does this improve the line, but and we see this with Scyther. So spoiler alert for later in the tier list. It literally sets it up to where there's future potential. What happens if an Onix is exposed to a volcanic area? It could have a fire ground evolution.
Yeah.
What happens if Scyther is exposed to some kind of ore? It could have a bug rock evolution.
Totally,
wait, it does.
Yeah.
You know,
I made a really cool evolution, like
I'm
a fake
give
one
a hot
design.
Take though.
Yeah.
Hot take. Steelix.
Sure.
Steelix hurts the line.
Because of the design, or because of the way it fits into the world.
It is a little bit biased, but it is also like it just doesn't do anything for Onix. If it was more steel looking, I could vibe. But
it's entirely steel.
No,
looking.
I don't ever. If you didn't tell me it was a steel type, I'd be like, okay, it's just rock as well. It's still rock type.
I can kind of see what you mean.
Well,
it just looks like a bigger.
It's unrefined ore.
Onix. Like, if they really wanted to make it like improved, I would changed it more. I would have changed it more. For me, personally.
I don't see that at all.
Hurt the line.
I think the horn on its head,
like Scizor is clearly made of metal, but the Steelix does kind of look like, dude, especially like look at it in the anime. In the anime, it looks like straight rock. So I see what you mean. I disagree, but I see what you mean.
No, I can see that.
They could have made another evolution that was more different, maybe more dragon and more steel looking.
If they made
snake looking.
Okay, so Scizor is red, but it's made of steel. That makes no sense. It would have been kind of cool if Steelix it was steel type, but it was all black, like the color of Onix in our world.
Yeah.
How sick would that have been?
It would have been awesome. That's my point exactly.
Yeah.
Like there's just so much more. It's kind of like a
sure.
Just
listen, that's a fair criticism of the design, but I do think it on its own, like undoubtedly enhances Onix. I think Onix feels pretty incomplete.
It doesn't do the same thing that Scizor does to Scyther for me. So it's so different. It's so different that it improves it so much. Which actually, Scizor
I think
might not improve it. It might be go in the middle one because they're both equally cool. They're both like I love Scyther.
But it does improve the. Okay, I'm starting to wonder if you think improve the line, like if we're interpreting this differently. If you just mean like
maybe,
like if you're looking for like a Scyther to have an evolution that's just like also bug flying type.
I'm taking it as literally as possible.
See,
like
to me,
what would improve Scyther? Do you know what I mean?
I think Scizor improves
Scizor
Scyther.
Does improve Scyther. It literally it creates the concept of, hey, Scyther can, when exposed to certain minerals, get access to an entirely different. Because the cool thing about Scizor and Cleavor,
and now it has
they're
swords.
not even. Scizor and Cleavor are almost not even evolutions because they all have the same base stat total. Scizor, Scyther, and Cleavor. So it's almost like regional forms before regional forms. Like Scizor is
like
Alex Scyther, and Cleavor is Rock Scyther.
Well,
it's
let's
like
do
if
this.
there was a baby one,
yeah,
it would make sense. I agree with you, so I will put it in improve the line just because, but I think Scyther's just amazing as it is. Like it didn't need it. It didn't need them. Do you know what I mean? But it's so cool that they better. Yeah, it made it better. So exactly. It does make sense.
Let's rank these
but
at
didn't need it.
Let's talk about these at the same time. So like obviously just this last generation we got Cleavor. I'm not as big of a fan of Cleavor, but I do like the concept of like Scyther getting a more modern evolution with Steelix, and then when you look at that by contrast, you go, well, what was that in the past when humans weren't able to harvest steel? It would be a rock evolution. Yeah. So I like
Iron Scyther and Rocky Axe. I
like it in concept, but I tend to believe I tend to side with you, Soul, when we talk about Cleavor. Cleavor really does feel like I think it does make sense if these were reorganized. There'd be a baby Pokemon that evolves into either Scyther, Scizor, or Cleavor.
That's essentially what they are.
Yeah. But it's just the way they evolve.
I like that it isn't, though. I like that it isn't. Mm-hmm. I'm trying not to go so much along the lines of like if I like their designs or not. So I'm just I think both of them improve the line
conceptually.
No matter how I like this about them because I would put
breeds
Poliwhirl
speculation.
It does,
and I like that.
All right,
it makes me go, what would happen if Scyther lived in a volcano area?
Yeah.
What would happen if it lived in a snowy area? Those kinds of things.
It's kind of like an Eevee, to be honest.
It is.
Yeah, no, it really is.
More. So
it's like cool. where Eevee's DNA based, Scyther is like mineral based.
It is.
That's pretty cool.
That's a cool way to say it. Yeah.
Please, Game Freak. Please.
So I think Kingdra.
Make another one.
Kingdra is another Pokemon that like completely like perfects the Horsey line. I've always liked Horsey. Seadra does feel like it could have had a poison type, but they decided to kind of just hone it in. Kingdra got the dragon type in Generation 2, and it feels like it just feels like the third form it should have always had.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I don't know if Soul, you got a whole hot take about that, but I really feel like when we're talking about
just because
improving the line, it to me this thing completes the line. It would feel incomplete without it.
I think Seadra really needed a boost in like strength, so that's why it needed it. But design-wise, it didn't need it. Like I don't think that it needed. I don't think it needed to go further than what it is.
I think there's
I don't think that Kingdra. I don't think that Kingdra goes that much further. You're gonna obviously you can tell now that it's just like when they look too similar, it's just like maybe it wasn't necessary.
I don't think they look similar though because
they do, bro.
Because Horsey. So listen, Horsey. Yes, they're all blue. They all have the same shape, but Horsey's chibi.
Seadra are fine.
Seadra is spiky, and Kingdra smoothens out. It gets scales, right? It becomes it embodies that dragon typing, and it also has those what are they called? Like it has those fins or whatever horns that Dragalge has. It's like a type of seahorse where they look kind of like
a leafy sea dragon is what that species
is called. I totally get where you're coming from. I'm just saying for me personally, it looks too similar for me to be like it really improved this line. It improved it in the sense that it needed the strength boost, like it needed the power up.
I think there is room.
To count that, but
no, that's fair. I guess I'm just realizing we are looking at this a little bit different because I like it when they look cohesive, and I also like it when they look different because I do think there's, honestly, there is room for Seadra to get a split evolution that maybe gets that poison type, right?
Counterpoint regional form.
Yeah, it might be better. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But I think
I will say
I'm putting it in the no change. That's what I'm putting neutral.
I think now this may be where some of my bias is coming because again, just to set it all up, I came in Gen 3 of Pokemon. So guess what? Kingdra is not a cross-gen evolution to me. It is an evolution. So to me, I look at Seadra and I don't like Soul. You say it feels complete, and that's totally valid because you were there when Seadra was complete. Yeah. But to me, Seadra looks no different from Ivysaur in terms of it is a middle stage.
Yep.
So that could be my bias talking, but to me, it needs Kingdra, and so I would say improves the line.
I'm with you.
I don't disagree as much with like it looking like a middle stage. I just think that its final stage doesn't improve it enough to like make it feel complete still. I don't know, that's how Kingdra to me is
I think there's some subjective opinion here.
Would you say that if you did not see the beta Kingdra though?
Yes, absolutely. I don't rate Kingdra that. I don't rate Kingdra that crazy. Like,
it just feels like a final form of its metamorphosis. Like, it's the same design. It's the same. I guess that's how I'm looking at it. Like, it's like if the cross-gen evolution was introduced in the same generation, would it make sense?
Sure.
I'm more looking at it like, did we really need this as a cross-gen evolution in the next generation or whatever generation it comes in? Like, did they really need to get that?
Yeah.
To me, no.
I agree.
I think so far what we've looked at, you guys really opened my eyes with the Poliwhirl or the Politoad, the Blossom, because I really don't think they needed those if we're looking at it like that. Moving on to Porygon, we are at an hour. Moving on to Porygon, I think this whole line feels really. What is it?
We're in Gen 4, kind of.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. I think Porygon 2, Porygon Z is really cool. Obviously, so the idea is that you have Porygon is this like low tech or low poly count, so it's like really blocky, but it's a Pokemon that was brought to real life. I think it's perfect. You evolve it and it gets smoothed out. And they could have done something different, but they said, you know, what if Porygon Z is corrupted and now it's the same Pokemon, but it behaves differently.
I think, too, the evolution method is so important to look at here. Yeah. Porygon evolves by giving it an upgrade. You upgraded your computer software, and now it's Porygon 2.0, right? Yeah. But then, hey, I found this disc, and it's a little suspicious. It's a little dubious. Yeah.
But I got it for free.
I'm gonna insert it here and see what. Oh goodness, there's a virus on my computer now.
Yeah, exactly.
It's crazy because Porygon Z is just so good, but you can't have it without Porygon 2,
which is great.
Porygon 2 is kind of just like,
what is wrong with Porygon 2?
We really need it, but it makes sense.
What do you mean? I don't understand this. Like, if you don't like the design, you're like, do we need it? I think it's a natural progression.
It's valid.
It could have just been Porygon forever. It's just that then you wouldn't get Porygon Z.
Well, no, then Porygon Z would be blocky. I think it shows a progression.
Yeah, a blocky Porygon Z would kind of be sick, honestly.
That would be cool.
Someone draw that.
I get the progression, and that's why I think I would put them in.
Because I'm not looking at it as if like, oh, it didn't need. Like I guess that is what we're talking about. It's not that it didn't need to exist. It's not like, okay, it exists. Is this the best implementation?
Am I the only one that likes Porygon Z the best out of the line?
No, absolutely. I love Porygon Z the best out of the line.
By the way, we can't mention Porygon Z without me saying this. Can you pull up Porygon Z's Legends Arceus Pokedex entry?
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite Pokedex entries of all time.
Indulge Lumi.
Please. It's so great, and I think it shows how just amazing Porygon Z is just in general. Oh, you gotta go up. You're going to there you go. A little bit more. There you go. See, you got
a curious item induced this evolution. The Pokemon's offensive capabilities have greatly increased, but the strangeness of its behavior has magnified in equal measures. This worries me. Lavington is goated for that. Yeah,
Lavington's so great.
Oh my gosh. I don't know. Again, obviously subjectively we can take a look at this, but every Pokemon in this line looks different. It has a unique identity, but it all feels so cohesive, right? It's not like we get to Gen 4 and Porygon Z is like green and like purple, right? It's a lot of evolutions.
That would have made sense, honestly.
No, a lot of those
because it's a dubious disc, right?
Sure, that's true.
It could have
completely
been cool
changed. It could have been anything. Sure. Like this is one of those rare ones because that's the thing too is looking at Blossom and Politoad. The reason those are weird is because these are natural Pokemon, but this is literally a man-made Pokemon. So the door's wide open for this. The possibilities kind of endless.
Yeah.
I think they improve it though.
Yeah.
I think so too.
I think there's a story here.
Gave no change / neutral. I thought we all agreed that it improved on that concept.
I did.
No, I don't like Kleavor as much.
What? No, but it's not about if you like it. It is conceptualizing Scyther. It is showing that Scyther can change its evolution based on minerals.
Sure. Sorry, I wasn't thinking that.
It's like the Eevee, bro.
No, but it's not
Either
Eevee.
way, me and Lumi.
Eevee, but with minerals.
Not to go back. Yeah, no, I know. I get you. And
Move it back up. Move it back up.
The way I was thinking,
went back.
The way I was thinking about it was like, not to go. Sorry, listeners. I went back to Scyther and I just moved Cleavor real quick. I moved it back, but Scyther for me is like
I noticed as well.
You dip like I'm like you give it the metal coat, the metal melts onto its body and fuses with it. But the stone, I feel like I can see it's. I don't know. I feel like it just looks a lot different than.
There's just a lot of different.
Look at it this way: as Scyther is a Pokemon with weapons, and it's always looking to hone that craft.
Oh, okay, yeah, I like that.
Also, we're taking this from tons of different factors, and so like it doesn't always have to be the lore that adds up or the design that adds up. You know what I mean? Like, just what improves? What improves?
Can I have a hot take here a little bit? I think, and maybe it's a hot take. I don't know.
What's next?
Tyrogue is next. Tyrogue improved the line, but Hitmontop made it worse. Yeah. And I'll explain.
I agree with you.
Hitmonlee and Hitmonchan absolutely need to be connected. Tyrogue literally bridged these two Pokemon. These Pokemon were not related in Gen 1. They were two different Pokemon.
So needed. Tyrogue was so needed.
Isn't it? So Tyrogue is perfect.
Yeah.
But then 100%. It's weird because it's like, we've got kickboxing, we've got boxing, and we have tops.
Yeah, the tops makes no sense. I feel like there could have been something else. Like, it literally could have been Sock or Throw. Like, whatever their design inspired by could have been one of those. Or it could have been, literally, what is it, judo or like karate?
Yeah,
like, I feel like
I don't think it hurts.
Growing
up,
I
would put it in the neutral one. Like
I think it hurts it. I think it actually hurts the line. It feels like a stain.
It's a bonus. It's nothing crazy.
I think it hurts the line for me.
It makes me look at it and go, so this Tyrogue can, because like I'm looking at it as Tyrogue evolves based on how it's raised, right? We've raised it to hit hard, so it evolves into the boxing Hitmonchan. We've trained it more with its legs, so it's evolved into Hitmonlee. We taught it to spin.
Yeah.
So it becomes a top.
Makes no sense to me. And also, when you evolve it, because it's kind of convoluted and like difficult to control, with like Tyrogue evolves based on like where its stats are upon reaching level 20. There's always like a little part of me that's like, I might be getting a hype on top right now. Like, I have no idea. It could just happen. So for me, it hurts the line, but it's not. Listen, I'm not staying up at night, upset about it. Let's move on now to we got the Jinx line with Smoochum. Listen.
Improved it.
I think it improved it. I think Smoochum, I think both Pokemon are kind of weird, but I do think.
For me, no.
Listen, would you want a Jinx coming out of an egg?
I don't want Jinx at all.
Because that would be pretty weird.
I don't want Jinx at all. I don't need Jinx.
I get you, but also you have to look at it from a political standpoint. And from a political standpoint, Smoochum definitely helped the Jinx line.
No, I don't think so. I think Smoochum is just like nothing. It's just nothing. It doesn't do anything at all.
It's cute. It's just a cute little baby.
Cute. I can now look at something in the Jinx line and go, this is cute. This. Whereas before I was like, this is the stuff of nightmares.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's literally, it has a redeeming quality. That's what it comes down to. Yeah. Anyways, yeah, let's just, I don't even want to talk about it anymore. We've got the two, so we've got the Electabuzz and Magmar line. These are two Pokemon that were kind of counterparts, or a trio with Jinx, but kind of left behind in Gen 4. Let's do Electabuzz first. It got a baby form in Gen 2, and it's got a new evolution in Gen 4 with Electivire. And I think they're both really good. They are. I think they all look different. I think I like Electivire, but I understand it. People like that Electabuzz looks more like a. I don't know. It looks like that. Like it looks like an Oni, right? I guess they're all Onis. But yeah, Electabuzz has a tail.
It's so tough.
I will say I don't think you can put. I think Elekid and Electivire have to go in the same spot.
Yeah.
And I will say the reason why is because with Electivire you have this whole plug-in aesthetic, which isn't obvious in Electabuzz's design, but is in Elekid's design. Yeah. So it kind of. In a way, you can't have Electivire without Elekid, I feel like. But that's just personal opinion.
No, I kind of agree.
I would say that improve on the line, though. I love both those Pokemon, and I think they look natural. I think they enhance the electric qualities of Electabuzz, and
it's a natural progression, but they all have their own identity, which is great for me.
And Electabuzz looks like a mid-stage Pokemon to me.
It does. Yeah, well, I could see it being I could see it being a
the
final
Dusty
stage.
argument, it would look weird coming out of an egg.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I don't get that argument. But
that's the point of a baby Pokemon. It literally is the point of a baby Pokemon.
I think Elekid helped so much with Electabuzz. I can't not be biased in this whole thing, in this part of it.
Which is that's fine.
I think Elekid is like a baby Pokemon done right. It feels like a first stage.
Yes, yeah.
So like it should have just existed as a
good
first
point.
stage, and then
a good baby Pokemon is not a baby, but is a stage 1.
Yeah, it seems that way.
Or a basic Pokemon, I think it's called.
But then I just don't like Electivire so much that I just don't know why it exists. But I get it.
It's just like it's like a bigger Electabuzz. You know,
it doesn't do it for me. But coming at it from the perspective of like, does Electabuzz need an evolution? Like, even if it was an Electivire, you know, did it need an evolution? I guess it could have got one. So I'm gonna put it in no change, and then Elekid I'm gonna put in improve the line.
You know what?
I would say they're both improvements.
Yeah, I agree with you, Lumi. You guys should make your own list, and like we'll just we'll
share them all together.
Yeah,
I can post them on Twitter. It'd be fun.
Yeah, that'd be fun. Be like, here's each of our lists.
Yeah,
just because I don't want to be bogged down by like the ranking. But yeah, I think they're both really good.
That is the whole point too. You should put them in their place. It's not like we don't have to like.
I just don't want to spend 2 minutes arguing about.
We also kind of have a collective one too.
It's really easy though. Like it's two versus.
No, I know, but when we disagree, it's not easy.
When we disagree, you just throw them in the middle.
Yeah, but that's not also accurate. I don't think.
If one person said the middle, because the only way we're disagreeing is someone had to say the middle.
It's not so
otherwise
accurate.
It's obvious because there's 2 versus 1.
Okay.
It doesn't matter too much.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So I think Magby is kind of in this. So Electabuzz, Magmar, they are counterparts, but I think they both have really good baby forms, but I don't like Magmortar at all.
I feel the same exact way that I felt about the Electabuzz line with these two. Like Magmar needed Magby as like a first stage, but then it does need to evolve more than Electabuzz, I think, Magmar. Maybe not, because I always saw it as like a counterpart to like Charizard vibe.
Sure, because you see it in the anime with Blaine.
Yeah. Like it didn't need Magmortar that much, and Magmortar's not that great. So I would just put it in the neutral as well.
Yeah.
Like, so it's just Magby improves and Magmortar is just like, it could have got an evolution. This is not that awesome, but yeah.
I think Magby definitely improves the line. Magby is adorable. To me, all right, look, now
it's like a little kid. It's like my little brother or something, you know? It's
sure.
I'm like, what's up, dude?
I've come across a lot of people who are big Magmar fans, so I feel like this will, get me in some hot water. But I don't like Magmar. I don't, but I love Magby.
Yeah.
I will also say Magmortar is not that offensive to me, but I agree that it does kind of just ruin Magmar. It just looks a little out of place. It feels like there should be something else there, not Magmortar.
Magmortar just needs a couple design tweaks to feel more cohesive.
It doesn't improve Magmar though, and Magmar.
Yeah, I agree.
It does not improve it. I agree.
Magmar could stand alone.
I do think Magby improves Magmar though.
You know, Magby's really cool because it actually has a different shade. It has a slightly different color palette. It's like more of a pastel.
I think,
and it would be cool if Magmortar shared that.
I think I'd be inclined to say that Magmortar gives no change.
Yeah,
that's what I was thinking.
Yeah,
that's how I feel about Electivire though too. So like this whole thought that you just had, that's exactly the same thing for Electivire and Elekid.
Yeah, that's fair.
Onward.
I can see your point now.
And upward.
All right, now we got Blissey, which is just fluffy Chansey.
Hate so much. It does not need to exist. Look at it.
No.
Why?
I think. And honestly, Happiny doesn't need to exist either. They literally just said, let's take all the pink Pokemon and make them extra cute for the girls.
Not to mention, they look like the Clefairy line to the point where you're like, is this part of the whole Clefairy thing? And
they have the same eyes.
Even more Clefairies.
They have the same eyes.
I am surprised it was not one of the Pokemon that received the fairy type in some way or another.
You know what? I agree. Here's the thing. I do actually like Blissy's design more than Chansey. Chansey looks fleshy. Blissey kind of looks like
only one of them needs to exist.
Yeah, and it should just be Blissey. So I'm gonna put it in.
I think it gives no change personally.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm with you. I'll put those together.
I personally, I know what I just said, but now that I'm trying to like my first reaction is like how I feel about them, and then I'm trying to take the question into account. And I think that Happiny improves the line, and I think that Blissey gives no change because it needs a baby. It needs something. Chansey's so boring.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, I agree. Here, I'm going to go back and just get all the Kanto Pokemon out of the way.
Wait, so we're doing Happiny too?
Yeah.
I think Happiny also gives no change. I'm neutral on these guys. I don't really care about this line.
That's very fair too.
Chansey can be a mid stage. Chansey can be a second stage. Chansey can be a standalone Pokemon. I don't really care.
Yeah, I'm with you. It just seems like they were doing a lot. Let's go to Mankey now. Mankey evolves into Primeape, so cool, and it just got the new evolution Annihilate, which is really cool.
This is improves the line instantly.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
There's no question.
It's a callback to an old Dex entry, and also just the concept that, like, you know, because that's the whole idea with ghosts, right? Ghosts have unfinished business. They've got some kind of grudge that's keeping them here and not able to ascend to the afterlife. And so, like, it is like turning that idea physically. Yeah. And so I love that. I think it
works
great.
On every level. Also, it being stronger, like in general. It being a 2-stage and now it's a 3-stage. There's just tons of reasons why it needed this. So.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And
it's a decent design.
It is easy peasy. We should see, like, I feel like there's so many Dex entries that reveal hidden types or not types, but like hidden evolutions, and they should go back and like kind of pick up at those. Next we got Magnemite, the Magnemite line. It evolves into Magneton, and then it evolves into Magnezone, which looks so different. Okay, let me just monologue real quick. I kind of see where they're going with, where it's like you have, like, Magneton is 3 Magnemites that have been like just pulled together through magnetism, and then the Magnezone is like, okay, now their bodies are kind of fusing together and actually becoming one unit. I can kind of get on board with that. And I have used Magnezone quite a bit in games because I like Magneton. And when you're playing a game, you got to evolve it just to, you know, actually have it be good. But truthfully, not my favorite. I feel like there's something else they could have given us.
Yes. But at the same time, I think it did need an evolution.
Yeah.
So it's like it needed an evolution so it improves the line, but it could have been better. Yeah. That's all. The evolution could have been better. But that's also a matter of opinion to me as well. Yeah. So it's like, you know, I just think that they could have made even more, like, Magnemites come together and become something else.
Yeah, like, look at Metagross. Like, it's made up. It feels like an evolution, like it is a change. But if you break the concept down, even Mega Metagross, if you break the concept down, you can see
it's
Metangs and Beldums in there. So I wish they had done something like that with Magneton. So I gotta say it hurts the line. Yes, Magneton needs an evolution, but not this one.
Yeah, and you kind of see it in Magnezone. Like, you
kind of like
what you just described is kind of what what Metagross does, but definitely not to the same effect. I think here's the risk though. If we didn't get Magnezone, we could have got a Magneton evolution that looked a lot like Klinklang. Right?
Yeah, but it's so much more appealing.
Yeah.
I don't know, it just is more appealing because it could become something bigger and better than just like, obviously it wouldn't just be more of them together. I don't know. I guess
it would be, again, I think Metagross is the perfect example. There is a genuine change. Metagross does not look like a bunch of Metangs or a bunch of Beldum put together. But when you break it down, you see that it is that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you can see where is it? Each arm is a Metang or a Beldum. And then the core of its body evolves and changes over time. So, but you can kind of see that in Magnezone.
Yeah, it is. It's kind of similar.
Where the core of its body is a different. It's like a bigger Magnemite, and then it's got all these different arms across its body.
I don't see it.
I see there's an eye. There's an eye. There's a Magnemite here. Magnemite here.
Sure, but like I don't know. It just, to me, it's a bit more of a stretch. And honestly, probably maybe I'm being unfair to Magnezone, and maybe what's really hurting it is Magneton, because it doesn't slowly change it like Metang, gets that middle part. You know what I mean? So there's a change there, whereas this is just one giant leap coming out of nowhere. But either way, I still got to stick to my gut and say Magnezone's hurting it.
Oh, so it's hurting the line? All right.
I think so.
Let's do it.
For me, it improves. It improves it just because it
goes in the middle then.
I'll just. What do you think, Dusty? Did you say improves, neutral, or hurts?
I said neutral.
Okay. Well, yeah, leave it in neutral.
All right, now we
have...
baby. No, let's do Lickitung next.
He's going like Pokedex order.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Let's do Lickitung next.
Licky.
I think Licky hurts the line because
hurts the line.
It didn't need it.
In a lot of ways, you look at it and it looks identical to Lickitung, but it is different, and it doesn't really add anything other than it has a bib.
Well, and you want to know, this takes like away, in my opinion. It makes it look more humanoid and more man-like, where Lickitung was a monster.
This is a example of the design actually hurts the previous design. Like this takes away so much more of Lickitung. Like it was a lizard, and now it's just like this blob thing, and its tongue is not like coming out of its mouth. It's just...
No, I'm totally with you. Yeah,
it's bad.
Like, look at this.
I like
That's
the shiny
cursed.
though. I do like the shiny. It's just not a lizard anymore. He's just a fat guy.
Lizard would have been cool. So this is where the opportunity comes. This is where the opportunity shows up, and you go, well, what if Lickitung got a new evolution and it had a dragon type, right? That's cool.
Yeah.
It definitely needs something different. A split evolution at some point. I'm gonna put it in. It hurt the line. Next, we can move on to the Rhyhorn line. This one's pretty contentious.
Hurts it.
I think Rhyperior is like, it could have been it, but it's trying to do too much. Like, so you have Rhyhorn is on all fours. It's kind of like it's like a rock rhinoceros, and then it stands up and turns into a kaiju, and then Rhyperior,
I think it provides
rocket launchers.
That's what I think.
What is it?
Yeah. I think it doesn't provide much change. I think it's fine as a split evolution. Like I wish Rhydon split evolved into something else, and then Rhyperior still did exist, because it has its own merit to like what it is. Like I love that it shoots out the rocks of its hands, and it's got like the armor or whatever. But it's just there could be something else that feels better to ride on than what Rhyperior is.
I think Rhydon just needed a mega. Like I think Rhydon should have gotten a stat boost. They should have revisited. They revisit old Pokemon all the time and give them some stat boosts, some changes. Rhydon.
Mega did not exist then, unfortunately.
I know. That's what I'm saying, though, is like they kind of hurt Rhydon. It literally hurt Rhydon, because we'll never get a Mega Rhydon now.
Yeah.
Imagine also, I mean, this could still happen because on Evolved Pokemon get G-Max forms, but like imagine a Gigantamax Rhydon.
Damn. That would have been crazy.
But they could just Mega Rhyperior and make it look more like Rhydon. Like
they could, but it'd still have to have some Rhyperior stuff. And I don't hate Rhyperior. I hate it as an evolution to Rhydon.
Yeah, it's
kind of like where I said with Politoed. Like I would be so sad if Politoed was gone, but it is weird for it to be there with the Poliwhirl line.
I think I think the implementation of the design is not that great. Like the final design is not that great. I think it could be improved. When I see its art in motion in the TCG and the anime, I like it a lot more, because I think they make it look a lot more mobile. And I think it kind of has the same problem as Licky, where it's like you turn this like animal kaiju into like, I guess it's still a kaiju, but it's just like I don't.
Tail. One of the things I hated.
Yeah, the tail is it has the Gen 4 problem where it just has this like giant core, this like egg core, and it looks really dumpy.
It's kind of like a kaiju that becomes a fat guy too.
Yeah. But seeing it in the anime is actually, this is awful. This is a man. But
it's because of the art, the artist that drew it. I mean, in animation, you gotta do it quick and all that. But I like Rhyperior.
Yeah, I think it.
Anyway,
it honestly just looks so like it. Yeah,
it just doesn't look like it should be a part of that line.
It really doesn't. I'm coming to that conclusion.
That's what I'm saying. Like as a split evolution, it makes so much sense. Like if there was another one. But
I wouldn't even say that. I would say a regional evolution. Like I think there should be a regional form of Rhyhorn and Rhydon that evolves.
That would fit.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even say a split Evo, because it just doesn't look like it should come from Rhydon.
Yeah, I'm with you. All right, so I put it into Hurts the Line. Next we get Tangela into Tangrowth. This one's subtle, but I do like it. Yeah, I think Tangela. So this is a Pokemon that evolves with ancient power. So the idea is, you know, it's kind of like that, like, you know, back in the day, this type of Pokemon, this fauna, had a lot more opportunity to grow bigger because that's what it did back in the day.
It's like a Sasquatch, which like, a lot of people think the Sasquatch is like this. I forget the name, but it's basically like this. It is a prehistoric creature that actually did exist.
Yeah.
That's, you know, prehistoric. There's your ancient power, you know.
This is a Gen 1 bias for me because all I can think about is how I think that when Tangela was first introduced, it was just a standalone Pokemon, and it felt fine as a standalone Pokemon. Sure. And I didn't ever need it to evolve.
But this is like your Surfetched, right? It's like,
yeah, but then when it did, it's so ugly and terrible, and it's just like, man, we didn't need this.
Nah, I think it's cool. It's more wild and absurd than Tangela. Yeah. And like Tangela had shoes. I like that it removes the shoes.
I agree with you.
Why does Tangela have shoes?
You can see more of that, like, you can see more of that, like, just, I don't know, whatever it is.
I love the vines and like the way, again.
Yeah, the vines are hands.
Snap, it like will swing on trees and stuff.
I do think it's a little silly looking.
It and provides no change because if it had a different evolution that was awesome, it would be like, okay, cool. But I don't think that Tangela really needed it so much.
I think, I don't know if this is a hot take or not, but I think that Tangrowth has room to evolve further. I think I could see a Tangrowth evolution.
I could see
that would be awesome. I could see that.
And Tangela feels like a first form, but
Mr. Mime.
Mr. Mime's next. Yeah, they've actually done quite a bit. I don't know.
None of it should exist.
Did you include Mr. Rime in our ranking?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
He is a regional evolution, a different Pokemon.
Yeah, but that is true. Yeah, but
look at Mr. Mime now. Is he a different Pokemon? The Galarian Mr. Mime?
I think it depends on the Pokemon.
I don't know.
No, you can't. You gotta have a universal rule or no rule.
That's not true at all, dude. There's complexities and everything. You don't need to be so hard.
You can't say Alolan Raichu's a split evo, but Galarian Mr. Mime is not.
I didn't say it's not. I said they look more similar. But honestly, if Mime Jr. is where we're starting, it can evolve two separate ways. Therefore, it's a split evolution. I guess that's my hard and fast rule.
You are right conceptually. It's just we're going off mechanics and coding and Game Freak official here.
Here's the thing: I live in the actual world of Pokemon. If I had a Mime Jr., if I'm Brock and I had a Mime Jr. and I started in the world,
I have a Mime Jr.
and I said, I have an opportunity like in the world. You're like, I don't know what it's going to evolve into. If I have an opportunity to go to Galar and it happens to evolve into a Galarian Mr. Mime, my Pokemon changed differently. My pet evolved differently depending on its location. Like, that's pretty significant.
That's weird to call Mr. Mime your pet. That doesn't feel right.
Relax. All right.
That made me very uncomfortable.
All right.
Mime, the best one.
Mime, I know. I was just, okay, whatever. Mime Jr., I think, improves the line. I like Mime Jr. a lot. It's got a lot of personality. It's fun. It's not cursed. It's not trying to kiss me. It's good. I like it. I think
Mime Jr. is adorable. It does help.
Listen, here's the thing. Mr. Rime, I cannot figure out for the life of me. Its stomach, its mouth is on its belly.
That's what you can't figure out.
It has ears. It has a mustache. It's got hypnotic
it has
eyes.
Ears.
It's got an object. I can't stand it. This is like
its mouth. Is its mouth on its belly, or is that an illusion cast by this psychic type Pokemon?
It's on its belly.
Type? Of course it is. I think it has two heads. That's all. It has two faces, just like
it
other
could
Pokemon
be that too. Yeah.
But why does Mr. Mime have two heads?
Well, Mr. Mime doesn't. Mr. Rime does.
Yes, very true, Lumi.
Listen, this is my Blossom. This is awful.
Yeah, but that's because you hate it.
I don't get it. It doesn't improve the line.
I gotta go outside of it because I hate it as well. Like, the last thing that you forgot about, Dusty, is
I actually love this thing.
No, it has disgusting shoes as well.
You have disgusting shoes.
Yeah. Let's Let me think.
Because here's the thing.
Mime Junior improves.
I think Mr. Mime, the Galarian form, is better than standard Mr. Mime. I think it's like really cool. It's just like a nice type swap, you know?
No, Mr. Rhyme hurts the line, bro.
It hurts the line.
Because we didn't need it.
We didn't need it.
We don't need any more Mr. Mime anything.
No, that's not totally true, because I think Mr.
It is, I don't want it.
The Galarian one, where's this? Look at the art, dude. It honestly looks so jolly.
It reminds me of...
I hate this thing.
Everyone prepare to groan, everyone. It reminds me of It's a Small World in Disney World, which I love.
What is that?
It's little twig
It's a small world after all.
Yes, that's it. Good job, Dusty.
But what is... I just know the song.
Look it up real quick. Look it up. It's
because we're on a time crunch.
Trust me, you'll see the vision.
Dude, if you mention Frasier one more time, I have no idea what Frasier is.
I mentioned it one time.
You've mentioned it in the past, and every time you mention it, I go...
I don't think I have.
I'm like, Lumi, I thought you were the youngest one here, not the 50-year-old.
It's a great show.
Okay,
you played along with it so well in that episode.
I tried hard. I was trying to... When Jake was on, I was trying to be respectful.
But see, it just reminds me of these little dolls, and It's a Small World. And like this whole vibe, like this whole like... art style, I guess.
This whole creepy
that's what Mr. Mime
I can see it.
reminds me of. And so I say that Mr. Rhyme gives no change. And I'll tell you why. Because for one, I look at it and I go, this is not really a change to the Mr. Mime that we've had since Gen 1. This is a change to a variant of Mr. Mime. So I'm like, so sure, it can conceptually exist. But I do think that the themes that Mr. Mime has, this It's a Small World vibe, gets lost with Mr. Rhyme.
Yeah.
And I don't like that. Like, I think it kind of loses that whole art style. It loses the whole clogs, which feels like a whole, part of it, and now just gets regular old shoes.
Yeah.
Charlie Chaplin's here now, which is a thing, I guess.
Galar, so Galar loves to make those references.
It's random, but I do respect that it is a change to a variant of Mr. Mime. So I can't say that it's bad for it, but I definitely can't say it's good for it. And this is coming from a Mr. Rhyme fan. I love Mr. Rhyme. He's a great guy.
All right. You're entitled to that opinion. Let's move on. Let's finish up Eevee. We talked about Espeon and Umbreon improving the line, expanding the evolutionary possibilities from the core, elemental trio, water, electric, fire, to things that are a little bit different, like psychic and dark type.
This is so difficult.
In Gen 4,
this is going to sound wrong of me, but I have a thought here on these. Leafeon and Glaceon are an improvement.
Yes.
Sylveon is not, purely because I see how the whole idea with Eevee is Eevee is the adapting Pokemon. It adapts to environments, and its DNA changes from that adaptation. So I see that Eevee's in a forest environment and has adapted into Leafeon. Eevee is in a tundra environment and adapts into Glaceon. I don't see an environment where I get that, like, fairy type adaptation.
Eevee's in my heart.
But just, it's getting bows and ribbons. It's getting these human... It looks like...
Tentacles?
It looks like a person did this. It doesn't look like a natural evolution.
That's kind of the
might be what it is,
though, isn't it?
Isn't it the fairy
That's kind of the environment, is that it's like Lumio City vibes, like where it's
in
a city. So
you're
it's like
right.
Furfrou kind of vibe.
I take it back.
No,
I take it back.
I get what you're saying,
an improvement. Sylveon's, what I'm saying is wrong. Sylveon's an improvement on the design, because you have to think Sylveon, this has changed now because this mechanic's no longer a thing in the games, but when it was introduced, the mechanic you had to use to evolve it was feeding this thing cupcakes, basically, and growing its affection. Not happiness, but affection. And so it is literally human influence is what makes this Eevee a Sylveon. So the human influence in the design makes sense. Sylveon's great for the Eevee line.
Humans did this to your Eevee. They made it ugly. They started putting plastic things inside of Eevee and
yes,
this is the microplastics.
Yes, it's like they started giving it implants.
Oh no,
this is
lip filler.
Do y'all remember the episode of the anime where Brock gets his Vulpix, and basically like Team Rocket starts like a Pokemon like grooming center or whatever, and they like doll them up, they put lipstick on them and like
that's
a wig
what this
and
is.
everything.
You're right.
This is this.
Yeah,
I will push back though on what I said against your stuff, Lumi, because I think that they all feel elemental up until Sylveon, and then it's just like it's not an element of anything.
But it's not supposed to be an element. It's supposed to be adaptation. It's not supposed to.
I know. I totally agree
I get that
what you're saying, but it doesn't feel that way. It feels like they're all elemental, and then Sylveon happens, and it's not elemental as much. So
I think that's a problem of the type, though. Like honestly, Dragon really isn't like an element. Dragon is right. It's like it's not like Bug isn't really an element. Like when I see like Bug evolutions for Eevee, I'm like, okay, so you just gave it like spider legs, like that doesn't
right. They don't fit as much. That's
you
what
make
I mean.
It a bumblebee. It doesn't make sense.
These other ones do more so. I'm struggling with Glaceon and Leafeon as well. Like all three of them.
What?
Do they actually improve?
Yeah,
it's just like
they do.
Umbreon and Espeon are like a level up from the first three. Yeah. And these are more like, okay, there's more. I don't know. I guess it.
I think they enhance
all represent
a location
I think that's the
or
thing,
a
though.
Rock, a type of rock, an environment.
I think that's the thing, though, is that is because your perception of Eevee was wrong. You saw it as an elemental thing, but it's never been an elemental thing. It's always been a DNA-based adaptation thing. And so Leafeon, Glaceon, and Sylveon have successfully improved the line because they have represented what Eevee really was all about to begin with. And so they've crushed those wrong interpretations that it was about element.
Yeah, I'm kind of on the fence. I'm going to put it up here.
I'll put the two element ones in improve the line, but Sylveon goes into no change.
I think
they didn't need it.
I guess it's like an easy way to think about it is like Eevee, its whole identity is different forms of evolution. So any sort of new evolution it gets is an enhancement of the line because it like further illustrates that like, definite factor.
It's funny to hear that from you, Soul, because you're the one who convinced me to bring it from hurt the line to improved it.
I'm just trying to look at it objectively. Like it's not that I don't like Sylveon, but still, it's just did it really need that kind of thing, or could it have gotten like a freaking I don't know a ghost type Eevee or like something else that's more
So Munchlax is Snorlax's baby, and I think. I'm kind of neutral, but I do like that Snorlax has something that can come out of an egg. Maybe that's it. Maybe I'm just describing that in a weird way, but I really think that matters to me.
Mm-hmm. I think it gives Snorlax doesn't look like a middle stage to me. Snorlax looks like a Pokemon
final stage
that has evolved. Because I think about other mid-stage Pokemon. I think about Pokemon like Torkoal and Aerodactyl, and Snorlax just doesn't look like he fits the bill.
No. I'm glad it evolves. Something evolves. I don't care for Munchlax.
I think it's fine as a standalone Pokemon. Like it's totally fine as a standalone Pokemon. You think standalone Pokemon are like mid stages?
No, but
That's what I heard.
Then I misspoke and I apologize.
I think a lot of standalone
Pokemon, like Torkoal looks like I can see a smaller Torkoal being a baby. You know what I mean? I can see just Torkoal is smaller, and that's what it looks like as a baby. Aerodactyl is smaller, that's what it looks like as a baby. Even Hawlucha is smaller, and that's what it looks like as a baby.
Aerodactyl should have a preform.
But just a smaller Snorlax? Nah, I feel like there's got to be something that evolves into Snorlax.
Yeah. Listen,
ideally... Again, this could be from where I came in. This could be from where I came in. When I came in, Munchlax was a thing. It wasn't in the games yet, but it was a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is a
because I remember trying to breed my Snorlax in the Sevi Islands daycare center and being really confused as to why it kept hatching into a Snorlax.
I tried to outsmart the game. I said, okay, I have a Sudowoodo. If I breed my Sudowoodo, I should be able to get a Bonsley. And it never happened.
Right. And it's like, you're lying, game.
Yeah.
I'm just putting it in gives no change, though. I don't think it helps or hurts.
That is true. We have to be looking at this from like the perspective of whatever was first introduced. So I think that is totally fair. I'll move it to give no change. Okay, so now,
the baby.
We've left now, Kanto. This gets a little complicated because some of these designs are new, right? So, okay, Togepi and Togetic was the standalone. Then we got Togekiss in Gen 4, and I feel like...
This is weird. How do we determine this?
It might hurt the line.
Three?
No.
I think we're just rating all three.
We're just rating the evolution.
No, we're just rating one because Togepi and Togetic are not cross-gens.
Okay, so
they were Gen 2 Pokemon.
Right. You're right.
Yeah.
My brain
and then all of a sudden,
I just said that because I was confused as well. I was like, wait a second.
No different than Ambipom, Gliscor. They are additions to a Gen 2 Pokemon.
I think Togekiss does not fulfill the promise of Togepi, but it fulfills the promise of Togetic, and I don't like it. But I think Togekiss is an improvement on Togetic, and it leans into the angel thing, so it actually improves the line.
Yeah,
even though I don't like Togetic or Togekiss.
It also, in my opinion, leans into like not just the angel thing, but also Togepi is basically an egg, right? Like you even see in the anime when it sleeps, it like tucks its arms in and like kind of curls its head so it forms an egg. So then Togetic is the chick, and then Togekiss is the bird.
Yeah,
it is a bird.
Togetic, back in Gen 2 when this came out, like when you saw this, you were just like, there's nothing after Togetic. Yeah. You know, like it just feels so incomplete.
So incomplete.
Yeah, hey, actually, do you guys want to thank the sponsors of the show?
Yes, we do.
Let's go.
How many seconds do you need to pull that up?
Yeah, no, I've already got it.
All right. And for the record, the sponsors, this episode's brought to you by our Patreon and YouTube channel supporters. Let's read them off right now.
All right, so we want to thank our mythical tier supporters: Hayden Segal, Indiana Jenkins, Ryan Amphosinus, Coronet Highlander, Tyler Low 15, Primal Gray, Sully the Skeleton, Matt Hale, the Pokekid 01. We want to give a special shout out to our Arceus tier supporters: Hayes, Case, and Young Smokey. And we want to give a Gigantamax size shout out to our Game Freak Inc. level supporters: Drogame, Bramtastic, Rilo, and Sheevburger.
Let's go.
Y'all the realest. Y'all the realest.
Thank you guys
indeed
so much for your continued support. That list is getting longer and longer.
I love it.
We've got so many great things going on in the secret Discord. We got a ton of bonus episodes of Secret Power that are available that you can unlock for as little as $5 a month. This is on Patreon or YouTube channel members or memberships, whatever works best for you. That is available. There's a ton of perks. You can help kind of direct the direction of the show by giving your input, by asking questions that we answer on live streams. Last week we did Lumi was there too. We did a phone call right in the Discord. It was like an hour and a half. We were just hanging out. No content, literally just a hangout. Literally just to hang out with the crew. It was so much fun.
Dusty always sends to our group chat that we have, our personal group chat, like some of your guys' comments and just like, hey, should we do something like related to this comment?
Yeah.
You know, it's cool to see your suggestions.
I'm battling a bunch of people this week. We have a league going on. I'm one of the Elite Four members. Lumi set this up, and I've got I think 2 or 3 battles this week with some people who are competing to be a champion. So that's gonna be fun. Were you gonna say something?
Yeah. I did want to take a moment to, while also thanking you all who supports us in all tiers. I also wanted to take a moment because we haven't done this, I don't think, and we should, and that's shame on us for not doing this.
What is it?
I also want to take a moment to thank our moderator in Discord.
Oh, yes!
Yori
of course.
Is the GOAT, and she genuinely, she's a part of the team, Like it's Lumi, Dusty, Soul, and Yori. For all I'm concerned,
holds it down.
We can't manage that Discord alone, and she is great. Couldn't ask for a better mod. There is no better mod than Jordan.
Yeah, thank you. Shout out Jordan. Follow them on Twitter. Where else are they?
I think that's it. On Discord.
I think just Twitter.
Yeah. Actually, she's everywhere, but not.
Yeah, she's everywhere.
Not on
Jordan's
YouTube,
always watching, guys.
She was in this game long before all of us. Actually, I'm pretty sure
she was
out there.
And if you want to get access to all these extra videos there's so many things here with all of our separate guests. Anyways, we did enough of a plug.
That should suffice.
I kind of cut myself off because I think I said
we could
hit time.
But
hey, but you know what? You know what though? The fact that it takes so long for us to talk about the perks of becoming a member and patron,
it's a pretty good reason.
That's a sell in itself.
And listen, you guys are funding.
And we're so grateful.
As you can see right here, you guys are funding this show. This show is possible because of you guys. And we haven't made any public milestone markers, but we do plan to do a bunch of additional content to thank people and to pad the Patreon. We want to do some Let's Plays, right? I'm getting ready to do Pokemon Snap. Lumi and I were gonna do it on Thursday. This week's a little busy. We're planning for next week on Thursday. That's the plan. Maybe we'll see. Actually, here's the thing. You're gonna watch this probably a little bit later. So You probably, anyways, whatever. We are planning to do Pokemon Snap. We want to do some.
We might have already done it.
Soul has never played it. They have never played Emerald version, so we want to play Emerald. We want to do some watch along videos. Maybe watch some of the old classic anime episodes and theorize on the spot. Just like let it play, and we'll talk and we'll banter and we'll theorize. That could be a lot of fun.
We might be taking over the world. Who knows?
I would love to watch one of you guys play a Gen 3 game, actually. That'd be fun.
You wouldn't want to play it, just like watch?
We're going to play it together, Soul.
I mean,
we're gonna
play it.
Have we not pitched you the idea, Soul? It'll be
I haven't heard this yet.
We'll
I feel like I've told you.
We'll randomize who gets to pick the encounter on each route, so it'll be like a Nuzlocke, but like.
Bro, I'm so down for this. I've been saying this for a long time that we should play together. That'd be awesome.
Oh yeah, and we will.
I'm a game watcher. Like since I was a teenager, I used to just watch my best friend play games. So that was it.
I'm down
I was
for
the
that,
original Twitch person.
Logistically, that makes the most sense if like one of us is controlling it, and the other two are just
either way.
Yapping.
Unless there's if it's like an emulator, like you can save the file and like all three of us can access it from it's under one account.
Listen, that's already breaking. That's confusing me already.
You're confusing me.
We'll figure it out off.
Because logistically, I don't know if I want to deal with that. But like, I think it would be fun if we're playing, and like I'm just assuming I'm going to be controlling it, and then you guys just banter and be like, "No, you have to do this. You have to do this."
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
But I want to catch this, and you're like, "Nope." Next round.
We're probably getting some real.
Kill all shinies.
Yeah. That's the rule. Anyways, let's get back to this. Thank you guys so much for your support.
Thank you guys.
Let's move on now to we got Azurill.
The baby. Finally, the baby.
Another baby that was introduced in Gen
baby.
3, a generation after Marill and Azumarill, and I think it adds to the design. It basically,
I agree.
I think it's so clever that they made its body at the same size as the tail.
Yeah.
Well,
just to illustrate how small it is.
For me, my biggest thing is one of the biggest complaints about Magmar and Electivire is that, you're supposed to, Jinx was supposed to be one of them, and Jinx never got an evolution. And so likewise, I would say if Marill is supposed to be Pika-Blue and Azumarill is supposed to be Rye-Blue, well then a generation later should come P-Blue.
Yeah, that's I like that. So I'm going to say it.
P-Blue, bro.
P-Blue.
Yeah.
I'm going to say it improved the line. I think it's nice.
I will too, just because it's cute.
I think they're already pretty similar, but...
It's tough because it does go against my whole philosophy here that I've been following, which is like they all kind of look the same, but it's different
half
enough.
The point. Yeah.
It's different enough and adorable at the same time, so it's like, all right.
I'm realizing how clever it is. Like, it's like...
It is...
You take it's like, what is something about Marill?
The tail never changes.
Exactly. And so you can see the Pokemon get bigger and bigger, which is really cool. And with our next line...
the tail dwarfs in comparison. I do like that.
When we look at Bonsly in comparison to Sudowoodo, that baby Pokemon, its little Nubjewel is the same size as Sudowoodo, and the whole thing just gets bigger. I think that's so clever.
I don't really like Bonsly. I feel like it's just like unnecessary, but at the same time, Sudowoodo needed something, so it's just it does improve the line.
Yeah,
I don't like that it's afraid of water, but it fake cries.
Well, that's the point. It's
Yeah,
not real cry.
I do love that it's like a bonsai.
Not real cry, but it is real tears. If you fake cry, you're making real tears.
Yeah, that's interesting.
That's interesting.
I love that it's a fake bonsai plant that becomes a fake tree. That's fun.
That is fun. Yeah,
it's an improvement.
Yeah, I think
what would the evolution of
it's not a
Sudowoodo
drastic improvement, but it's an improvement.
It still needs more Sudowoodo.
Next, we've got Apom from Generation 2 finally getting an evolution in Gen 4. And I think I can see what's going on here. I don't like Ambipom, but I think conceptually it does make sense.
It's another Mr. Rhyme situation here. Because
I think it's ugly like Mr. Rhyme, but it doesn't have a... It just has two tails instead of one.
Look, whether you think it's a good evolution or not,
that makes sense.
Apom looks like it needed to evolve, and this fulfilled that promise. So to me, even if it's not, this goes back to what I said about just because I put it in improves doesn't mean I'm saying it's an S tier design. It does improve the line. It gives Apom the evolution it needed.
No, I'm going back on my word.
I'm looking at it the way you are saying, Lumi. And Ambipom has the same body proportion as Aipom. Like, it doesn't need...
You have the same body
proportion.
Aipom
could have stayed... It could have... When you look at Ambipom, you're like, okay, it didn't need this. It could have just stayed as one.
I don't.
Maybe it would have evolved into something else.
Aipom needed an evolution.
Into something else in the future.
It doesn't. But it doesn't.
I'll give you this.
Bro,
but that's what I'm saying is, if it had a split evolution, it's kind of like what I said about Slowpoke and Slowbro. If Slowbro didn't exist, then maybe I'd be more accepting of Slowking, because Slowpoke definitely needs to evolve. But that's my thing, is there is no split evolution, and because there's no split evolution, Aipom needs to evolve. Ambipom is fulfilling that.
I don't know.
I think
it's the whole licky licky
right
thing.
now. It helps.
I think
it's the whole licky licky thing, though. Let me say one thing, and then I'm done. Its hand tails don't serve any purpose. It like gets worse. Do you know what I mean? So it's like
I see what
it does not improve Aipom in any way.
I disagree, though, because
like its arm should be smaller.
Lickitung didn't need to evolve, in my opinion. Lickitung looks fine as a standalone Pokemon.
It does.
But Aipom doesn't. Aipom looks incomplete.
Yeah, Aipom could have got a new evolution.
I like the idea of having a small Pokemon that is a standalone, like Sableye. Like, I think Sableye didn't need to evolve. Like, Ambipom doesn't need to evolve. I think it's fine being like that.
I agree with the Sableye point. I don't think you have to be a big Pokemon to not evolve, but Aipom just looks like it should evolve.
Yeah, it's like Pikachu. It's just a little like forest animal.
A more similar example is Grafaiai or Passimian. Grafaiai is a Pokemon that does have a pre-evolution, but honestly, Grafaiai, if it was standalone, that would work fine. I don't think it looks like it's incomplete. Passimian does not look like it's incomplete. It's fine as a standalone, but Aipom looks incomplete.
I think this is another one of like when it came out, it was Johto and it was just Aipom, and it didn't need anything else.
I think
the
problem. No,
when I started watching, Ambipom wasn't a thing yet.
Kids. The problem here is that Ambipom is ugly.
Also,
like conceptually, it's a good. It makes sense. A monkey with a hand tail gets two hand tails. That kind of makes sense. But I think the implementation is not it.
Well, it's actually based
we're not
on
weighing
like
the
this
design,
mythical
though.
creature too, and it could just be so much better.
Yeah,
it could be so much better.
My whole thing is I'm not weighing the design here. I'm not here to say Ambipom is the best evolution for Aipom, the best possible evolution for Aipom.
Yeah.
But I'm saying that as of right now, on September 10th, 2024, Ambipom is the only evolution to Aipom, so it's the only Pokemon fulfilling the incompleteness of Aipom.
I'm having a tough time here.
Now, if Aipom gets a better split Evo down the line, then guess what? Maybe Ambipom needs to go.
Like, we're not ranking we're not ranking its design, but I'm starting to feel like
you kind of are,
because it's like
you kind of are.
It's like we're ranking the design in comparison to the original design, and I think the original design. Right, the Gen 4 Ambipom just looks like a Gen 4 Mon. It's got all these like weird things on it for no reason. Like the little,
it's just I'm not ranking it like that. It's just like, did it need it, and is it better than its original? You know, like no,
I'm struggling.
Really, it is definitely opinion based, but I think even Lumi's take is opinion based. I think.
Yeah, no, it absolutely is. It's all in the way we're measuring it. Like, we're very clearly measuring it differently, and it boils down to the opinion of, does Aipom look so incomplete? And you know
what?
Think that Ambipom's not needed, then you think Aipom doesn't look so incomplete that it needs Ambipom.
Here's the solution.
Opinion, it's like having Pichu not evolve. Like, there's just Pichu. What? No, this needs something.
I do think Aipom, maybe because it's not elemental, maybe it doesn't need to evolve, because when I just scrolled down to the next two, Yanma and Murkrow, and I go, of course they should evolve. But then I guess it's
funny because I'm going to do the same thing with both of these. We can move on to them as well. We can place where Ambipom is.
Yeah, I'm going to just say.
I feel the exact same about both of the other ones too.
Oh, Lumi,
because they came out that way. And that's also why I love Gen 2 so much. Like, I love Gen 2's Pokedex, and people hate it because of these reasons. But I'm totally fine with Yanma being Yanma by itself and Murkrow being Murkrow by itself.
I think with Yanmega, it kind of goes back to what we said about Tangela, and kind of goes back to Porygon, where a big part of it for me is the evolution method. And, the evolution method is it has to learn ancient power so it can access this older ancient form. And Yanmega looks the part. So to me, Yanmega is great, but since you've wrote these two together, I will say Murkrow has like this whole witch hat, witch broom vibe. And so I feel like its evolution, because it's just a dust stone,
doesn't
it's just an elemental
that.
stone.
Yeah.
It doesn't fulfill that. It goes in opposite direction. So I would say, but
it's still
conversely, I feel like Murkrow does feel incomplete, kind of like what I said about Apom. So I would be more willing to say that Honchkrow, I would put Honchkrow at neutral, but Yanmega definitely improves.
It is funny because it's like, I guess it depends on like, I feel like it really depends. That's funny. I don't like the design of Ambipom, but it does. It expands on the concept of.
It does.
Of the
you
tail.
Just don't like the execution.
Absolutely,
but it does do what should be done.
Yanma to Yanmega is kind of a sidestep because of the ancient power, because of the evolution method. Murkrow to Honchkrow is a sidestep because of the concept shifting from witch to mob boss, right? So. It's
but
like,
do they improve the line? Like, it is a question.
Does it improve Murkrow? No.
You know what
Murkrow
I mean?
stands alone on its own. Yanma stands alone on its own. But I do think they improve the line because it is adding a new flavor, and there's always that possibility of maybe a more truer evolution.
For me,
Ambipom, it kind of hurts the line for me because I'm like, I don't know.
Bad.
Yeah.
No, but Murkrow for me is
conflicted.
Like, can it just be a bird that just exists on its own? Like, sure, it could become this cool, amazing, different evolution. But if it didn't, and it just stayed that little crow that's like kind of awesome on its own, couldn't it just be that on its own? No. I think yes.
I think
yes.
so.
I think it's fine on its own.
I feel like that was Wingull.
Because to me, it looks like it's on par with Pidgey, Spearow, Starly, Wattrel, Tailo, all these Pokemon that do evolve. So Murkrow just looks like something that's getting left behind.
Interesting.
No, I disagree with that. I think it looks more like maybe a mid-stage compared to those.
I can see that.
Like maybe like a Pidgeotto or something. Yeah. But yeah, I still think it can stand alone.
That is tough.
Game Freak for a while.
Part of it is that they're like physically small Pokemon, so like that's screwing me up. Yeah, I'm really conflicted. So I'll just throw out my opinions and you guys.
Where are we gonna put them? Yeah,
I think Ambipom is kind of neutral. I think Yanmega does improve the line. I think I do like the idea of a bug being stuck in amber. Like that's like the science fiction concept. And then you have like Pokemon like allowing Yanma the bug to access that old data or that old DNA. That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
And then Honchkrow. I'm glad I got an evolution. Is this really what I wanted? It doesn't feel like a natural progression, which is not a bad thing. I don't think it's a bad design. I just don't think it doesn't feel like a continuation of Murkrow.
Yeah, no, I love Honchkrow. I think it's a great design, but whereas Apom, even if you don't like Ambipom, it's like objectively a natural step. You know, a monkey gets two hands now.
I think we're totally swapping on our.
It's a witch becomes a gangster.
Yeah, so our arguments are like our stances on this argument are swapping depending on the Pokemon.
Well, no, because mine are the same. Because Apom does two things. It fulfills the fact that this Pokemon looks complete, and on top of that, it progresses it in a way that does feel natural for the Pokemon's next step in evolution. It's just a question of if you like the execution or not. But Murkrow, it fulfills one of those things. It fulfills that the Pokemon, needs to evolve, and now it does. But it doesn't feel like a natural progression. It does not feel like a witch ordinarily becomes a mob boss.
The thing is, though, and this is against my own conversations, but it's just there's no spoken rule that a Pokemon has to naturally evolve into what would feel right.
Most of them pivot.
This whole thing's opinion based, right? Until break out the tier list, it's going to be opinion.
Exactly. So I will say Yanmega, it was before its time. Like, it could have been a Paradox.
It could have been
a Mega.
Yep.
It could have been either of those things.
Mega would have been cool.
Really, really cool. It also makes Yanma like way cooler and improves it a lot design wise. So I put it in improved design. Honchkrow and Ambipom go to hurts the line.
Jeez.
Okay.
All right. That's fair.
Because Honchkrow is so different in every way that it just and I
kind of feel the same way with Miss Magius.
Really, I think that improves the line.
I think Mischievous
like a natural progression.
I think Mischievous is
this one.
Perfect.
I really feel like what you're talking about, Lumi. Like Mischievous is so just needs something. It's just like a baby. It's like a baby Pokemon.
But I don't know if Miss Magius is that evolution.
I think so.
Cool. Cool.
I think though. I think though it's funny. Miss Magius, I think, hurt the Murkrow line because here's that witch that we were wanting.
Wow. Yeah.
You know.
That's so true.
It was right there, right
and
in front of your face.
And they were counterparts and version exclusives.
Yeah,
all
so there definitely is like no. That's totally fair. I guess I'll stay consistent. It does improve the line because it gives it that added stage. The why not I think is great because it's like why not.
Absolutely.
I also think it's
I think it
great.
improves it.
I keep
for all the reasons we've talked about.
I keep getting
Pokemon.
shiny why not in Pokemon Sleep. It's painful actually.
But it's a great Pokemon.
It is. I'll say it improves the line.
I agree.
Oh, here we go. We're getting to some juicy
This is
ones now.
These are easy ones though.
Girafarig to Farigiraf.
Great improvement.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then
like one of the
Dunsparce to
most
Dunsparce.
obvious improvements, in my opinion, is Farigiraf.
It needed an evolution.
Well, and it was
alone.
the perfect evolution, in my opinion, because it did something that feels natural. But I think something that we weren't. Yeah, but I think it was something that we weren't expecting. It feels natural, but we weren't expecting. I think a lot of people thought, okay, well, maybe now the evil head gets bigger and it's taken over. Maybe it becomes psychic dark. But this makes a lot of sense.
Slightly disappointing, actually.
It's symbiosis. They become one,
Yeah, and I think there's room for like a Duskstone evolution or whatever, where the head becomes the primary thing. That's cool.
I think Girafarig was fine on its own. I think if it had a longer neck, people would have been like, okay, it's complete.
Yeah.
Like that's literally all.
That's also it too. It's a true giraffe now.
Since it's like pony vibes, Girafarig, then that's
why.
Pony,
but yeah.
It does. It gives you like little baby giraffe.
It looks like a.
It looks like it'd be the size of Ponyta.
Sure. Yeah.
That's the only reason. But actually, it kind of stands alone, and it's kind of based on the Okapi, which is like a completely different animal.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of. Yeah.
But see, then you're naming it, if you want it to be an Okapi, put Okapi in its name, not giraffe.
Yeah. It's weird because it's actually more of an Okapi than a giraffe. It's just probably the translators that were like,
well, I don't know. Is giraffe referenced in its Japanese name?
Maybe, I don't know. But you see like the Okapi has like the white on the back end of it.
Yeah.
So it's like split colored.
To showcase the two different, animals or whatever.
That's
fair.
Okay, so its Japanese name is Kirinriki, which comes from Kirin, which is the word for giraffe, and Ninriki. Yeah. So again, you're seeing giraffe being referenced in its name. Yeah. So make it a giraffe.
Granted, the Okapi is related to a giraffe, so
yeah,
it is what it is. It does improve the line.
I'm not gonna call a wolf poodle because they're related.
Listen, my dog. She's got the heart of a wolf. We are at 2 hours, so come on, guys.
We're almost done.
We're talking about the names. What are we doing? Girafarig to Farigiraf. I do like the explanation that it feels.
Also, the name
natural.
inversion is cool.
Yeah, that is cool. Dunsparce.
Yes.
Evolving from Dunsparce. Listen, we were very angry when this happened, and now we love it.
We were not.
Yeah,
I was. This is the stupidest.
So you
it's
were.
a joke. I think a lot of people were disappointed. I think you're revising history.
A lot of people are still
disappointed. No, I was not disappointed, and I'll tell you why I wasn't. I was surprised, don't get me wrong.
It's always, dude.
I wouldn't say I was disappointed. It was like that makes sense. Because, Dunsparce, his whole thing has always been that he's, uniquely normal, almost. You know what I mean? He's something special, but he's also not.
Yeah.
So it makes sense that its evolution, it would get the evolution. That's right. We gave you the Dunsparce evolution, and it's just more Dunsparce.
Yeah.
Where it's kind of cool because it got the evolution, but it's also kind of a letdown in that it's just another segment to it. It's perfect. It's what Dunsparce. This would not work for another Pokemon, but because of what Dunsparce
represents,
for
Palmy.
It works. It doesn't work for Palmy. I would argue that with Palmy it's bad, and I would argue with Finizen it's different.
Here's the thing: does this improve the line?
Yes.
Nah, I guess I'm just kind of neutral on it. I don't think it hurts the line.
Here's the thing. I think without the third form, the extra form, then it changes everything for me. Like if it didn't have the longer Snake Boy, then I'd be like, this does not.
It's a waste. Yeah. Because I feel like this
because it has
the nail in the coffin. We're never getting another evolution unless there's an evolution that
that's not true.
There's an evolution that has. What do you mean? What is it gonna have?
It's going to totally get another evolution.
It'll have 4 segments.
It's a 2-stage. It can become.
Why can't it just have an evolution, and that evolution has 2 or has so like if I have a 3-segment to Dunsparce and you have a 2-segment to Dunsparce, they can now evolve into a Pokemon that'll have 2 or 3 segments. Or 2 or 3, you know, my 3-segment evolves into a 3-segment Pokemon. Your 2-segment evolves into a 2-segment Pokemon. So like it's that draconic that draconic Dunsparce we all wanted. It's that, but it has 2 segments or 3.
I don't know. Or just I think this is all the I think this is controlling.
Yeah, or just the 3-segment evolves. You get like a Combee situation where like the male doesn't evolve. Maybe the 2-segment doesn't evolve now because that adds it, right? Like the thing about Dunsparce when it's a very rare Pokemon, right?
Cool.
So
that's
you have
the one
to find
that evolves into
really
the dragon
rare
that we always
Pokemon.
wanted.
You have to find the really rare Pokemon Dunsparce, and then you have to evolve it into its really rare form, 3-segment to Dunsparce, and then that one can evolve into the Dunsparce you all thought you were getting.
That's the dream anyway. It improves the design just because it has 2 forms for me. That's because the 3-segment makes it different enough.
That's fair.
Makes it stronger, so it's an improvement.
I still feel like it's kind of a letdown at the moment. Like I think there was a lot of years of expectations and hype, but anyways,
you're a letdown.
Yeah, Lumi, you really don't remember all the hype that we had for Dunsparce?
I remember it, but
all that potential is lost. I think.
Not lost. I think they went a different direction than everyone thought.
Yeah,
that's all.
Here's the thing.
But the different direction is a meme. Like they're literally joke. This is like the battle tower. This is like the Frontier being like it's under development. Oh, you got your evolution. It has an extra segment.
I don't think it is. I think that's a weak comparison. I think this is a better comparison would be like with Samurai. I think I remember that when that Legends Arceus leak was going around, a lot of people thought, regional Samurai will be water fighting or water steel. It ended up being water dark, but it worked because I think. But
listen, that's a regional form.
I'm going to challenge you.
That's a regional form. Your argument was that that's a regional form.
I agree that it's a regional form.
This is an evolution.
But that's my whole basis is that if you do not like the Dunsparce, if you were upset with the Dunsparce, then I hate to break it to you, but you were never a Dunsparce fan to begin with.
Yeah,
you didn't know Dunsparce.
I agree. Dunsparce is nothing special.
You're mad. You're okay, then that makes sense for you to be upset about that. But anybody who is a true Dunsparce fan and knew what Dunsparce represented knows that the Dunsparce is the perfect evolution.
I think it's revisionist history.
The Dunsparce 3-segment is in my top 5.
No, I think you just never understood Dunsparce and you're blaming Game Freak for it.
I don't think there was anything to understand about
My father used to always say that the one thing people want to hear the least is the truth.
Wow. Deep. All right.
Wise man.
Yeah, shout out to Lumi's dad. All right. Gligar to Gliscor is, again, perfect. This is like everything Gligar could be. It's just cooler and bigger and different, but still a natural progression. I think Gliscor is great.
I agree with you 100%, but the same thing with Gligar and Sneasel. Both of them did not need to evolve for me. Like, they could have stayed the same.
Gligar needed an evolution.
I agree with Sneasel, but I disagree with Gligar.
Gliscor is going up to improve the line.
I'm sorry. How are you pronouncing that?
Gliscor?
I hate you.
Why?
That's how we pronounce it.
How do you pronounce it?
Gliscor.
It is y'all pronounce it Gliscor? I swear.
Some people pronounce it
the only one that pronounce it Gliscor.
No, I've heard a million people pronounce it Gliscor as well. It's Gliscor though.
I'm pulling up the Cerebi pronunciation.
It's literally just how you pronounce it.
We're over 2 hours. Okay, we're over 2 hours.
That's why this is happening.
I don't care about this. Sneasel.
I do
think Sneasel is like kind of a perfect design. At least it felt like that back in the day. It was elusive. You found it at Mount Silver. Yeah.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
What do you pronounce Gligar as?
Gligar.
Gligar.
So why are you putting the gly there, but then it becomes glit and
this is English, bro.
Yeah,
this is English.
Have you seen
other words? They're similar.
I blame YouTubers, competitive YouTubers, who used to play with Gliscor in Gen 5, Gen 4. Probably it was what's his name? NBZ. I used to watch him. He used to do like I think he used to use Gliscor.
But he's talking about, Dusty?
He's English.
yeah. I agree. It's just maybe we're wrong, but that's how we've always said it. So that's how it is.
Is definitely an improvement, though. I do agree with you, Soul. I don't think that Sneasel, needs it. I think Sneasel looks fine as a standalone Pokemon. I would also make the same argument about Hisuian Sneasel because Sneasler is one of the biggest affronts to humanity.
Weevil's cool. I get it, but I don't know.
It's just weird, though. Like, why is it Egyptian now?
What? Egyptian?
It looks Egyptian to me. I can't be the only one.
I get the vibe. I see it.
It looks like an Egyptian pharaoh.
Here's the thing: is it doesn't improve on Sneasel like that much. It just looks like a variant of Sneasel to me. Do you know what I mean? It just looks.
No, I agree.
Like a different Sneasel.
Right.
Why?
It's the slightest evolution, which makes it feel kind of just like irrelevant. Like, imagine if Sneasel was just like that much cooler. Like, I think if we got Sneasler in Gen 4, I would have accepted that. Like, okay, it gets taller.
Yeah, right? it makes it look different enough. This is like Sneasel's not so cool.
It literally is his 1-year-old brother.
Yeah, that's not as cool as it either.
No.
Like,
So I'm not crazy.
Sneasel's like a little bit off, or it's not symmetrical, which makes it really cool, similar to like Absol. So I think I've always liked Sneasel for that reason. The way it's kind of like, it looks like it was kind of, in a
With
battle.
that being said, I have to put it in provides no change because
I would say
it provides an evolution. Yeah.
And I would just like to say that I'm not crazy. It does say on Bulbapedia, its appearance may be based on an ancient Egyptian fashion, as it includes what resembles a headdress, collar, and earrings similar to what Egyptian deities wear. Its eyeshadow also resembles Egyptian makeup. But I would also agree, no change from Weavile. I would say that Sneasler is, it's, I'm trying not to be biased and weigh the design, but this design is so bad that it just ruins everything it touches.
And I think Weavile and
all of my heart and soul.
Well, so I think this is making it clear to me why I don't like Sneasler. Weavile and Sneasler, they just don't do what Sneasel does as better. I think Sneasel is so cool because it's like it's just this little guy that runs around. It's a little fit, right? I don't know. It's like a little ninja guy. It's so cool.
Yeah.
And then it gets taller, and now it's clunky.
Hisuian Sneasel, though, feels more incomplete to me for some reason. I don't know why, and maybe it's the claws, but it feels more incomplete than regular Sneasel. Regular Sneasel is standalone to me. But
probably because
Hisuian Sneasel feels like it's going to evolve into something.
It's probably because I used to use Sneasel in Gen 2, growing up.
Maybe.
Well, and also too, Sneasel looks very aggressive and it's already in its official art, whereas the official art of Hisuian Sneasel, it looks like a little young, it's cute. You look at it and go, "Aw," whereas Sneasel, you look at it and you're like, "It's a boss,"
Yeah. Its claws are closed in a bit more. It just has this vibe that it's like, oh, it's going to become something else.
Yeah.
So Sneasler to me is an improvement because I love it as well.
Yeah, I'm going to put them both into just kind of neutral because we can't decide. Teddiursa evolves into Ursaring, and it's been like that for my entire life until we got Ursaluna.
And it improves.
And it's so cool because in a lot of ways, this is kind of a sidestep to Ursaring. Mostly because Ursaring, Teddiursa has this it feels elemental. Ursaring just feels like a normal type, even though it is associated with the moon. So I like that Ursaluna kind of brings it back to that moon aesthetic.
To me, Ursaring always felt incomplete. I don't know why.
Yeah,
it just there was something, and I think people always felt that way.
It's very simple.
It's just a bear.
Yep.
And not a very good take on a bear. You know what I mean?
I think it's a good bear, but I agree with you that it just felt like, okay, do something else. Give it a fighting type. Give it a dark type. Give it something I don't know. Even Pokemon that don't have a new type, like Beartic's really cool because it's ice type, but it gets access to water moves, right? Mm-hmm. Because there's something else there.
And what is ice if not frozen water?
Yeah, right. That's a good point. Ursaluna is
definitely
great.
Improved.
Definitely improves the line. Let's move on to Swinub, another ancient power evolution. Swinub to Piloswine always felt so weird.
Yeah, but that's
it just becomes this like shaggy swine. Oh, dude, Mamoswine is amazing. I think Mamoswine makes the line.
I agree. And also, this is a Pokemon that just makes sense to get an ancient power evolution.
Totally.
You know?
And the blue goggles.
I do not like Mamoswine, but I will still say it improves the line because it's just an improvement.
Yeah.
On Piloswine.
Totally.
In general, it needed to go there, but I really don't like it. All the things that you're saying, like the pig mammoth, it's just like, what's
that's great. It's just a mammoth, but it just got its nose chopped off.
Like it, but I would like us to get, I guess Great Tusk is kind of a mammoth too in a way.
Sure.
But I would like something a bit more mammoth that's, you know, like Domphan's a short elephant, and so Great Tusk is a short mammoth. I'd like a big,
king.
You know, colossal looking up mammoth.
Bro, put some respect on that.
Oh yeah, no, I mean I'm short too, you know, no hate. I'm just saying I would not like it in place of, just in addition to.
Yeah.
I would have really liked if they kept its eyes like Swinub eyes. Or just like
honestly, that'd be kind of cool.
You see it?
I'm sure Pen Paladin has done that. All right.
He's done everything. Anyway.
All right.
Yes to this.
Mantike is cool. Yeah, Mantine just felt kind of like just kind of a random. It's just a bulky, non-evolving Pokemon. So I do like Mantike.
The evolution is so good too. Like that now they've made a little guy who has to find a Remoraid to become its evolution. Dude, that's so cool.
Yeah. So
I say that it does improve, but it almost doesn't too. It's really hard to say because Mantine needed something, but Mantike, I love Mantike, don't get me wrong, but it just feels like so similar that it's like, did it really? I don't know. I love the smile on the back becomes like whatever it becomes, but it is like a smile. Anyway, yeah, I think it improves just based on because I like the design more than anything. I don't really know if it truly improves the line, but maybe I should say provides no change. I don't know.
I think it improves it. It's definitely not, you know, like that's the thing too, is since we're only sticking with the 3 tiers, we can't really measure the level of improvement. Like Mantike does not improve on this line to the same level that say Umbreon and Espeon or for Rigorath improves on their lines.
I think you have to compare it to an improvement. Baby, but yeah,
it's just a baby. Yeah. It's nice. I think it has its own identity, which is really clever.
It's just a baby.
It is, dude. It's just a baby. It's just a baby.
I don't know what to say about this one.
Stantler to Weirdeer, it's
improvement.
I think it's an improvement because, like, whether you like Stantler or not, it's not.
Has our Hisui tier list even gone out yet? I don't think so.
No, it hasn't.
So I have to hold back everything.
No, let it loose. We'll put out the Hisui informed tier list first. Stantler is it's like no matter what you think about Weirdeer or Stantler, they are consistent. It literally looks like just a bigger, different, new element of Weirdeer.
True.
And it finally got the psychic type.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's an improvement. Flat out.
Cardinal on Twitter?
Yes.
Yeah.
The artist?
Yes.
Very talented,
He's been doing like color swaps recently.
Oh, cool.
And he put the white all of Weirdeer on Stantler, and I was like, this is all it ever needed. It was just, it made it perfect to me.
I think a lot of Pokemon back in the day had these like neutral, like realism colors, right? But why not take the white tail of a white-tailed deer and that white color and just put it on all of its fur? Now it's this fantastical creature.
It also makes sense when we first saw Stantler, he's living in the forests of Johto, but in Hisui, he's in a colder climate and
snow.
You know, that's the reason the Arctic foxes, the reason the Arctic hares, these animals have this white coat is to blend in with their surroundings. So, you know, it makes sense that as it would evolve, it would not only gain more fur to fit in with the colder environment, but also would get a more white hue to blend in with it.
All right, I'll concede that it improved the line though, Weirdeer, because it needed it.
It did. All right, we have a hard out in 30 minutes, right, Soul?
Yeah.
Okay. Ralts evolving into Gardevoir is great. I think the Gallade split evolution is cool. I'm kind of sad they abandoned the fact that Gardevoir is supposed to be a knight, right?
I don't think they necessarily did. They just gave it like a more traditionally masculine versus feminine.
I think if you look at the mega evolutions,
supposed to be a knight. Since when is it supposed to be a knight?
Ur-Knight is its name in Japanese.
Yeah,
I don't see it. I don't see it being a knight at all.
It's not like it's not like a Western knight.
I know, or like a ghost at least. You know, like a phantom vibe.
Well, and it's also like an angel, and in a lot of depictions, an angel is kind of depicted as like a knight. You know, like the angels that
I guess I can see
the
that
Garden of Eden is supposed to have like a flaming sword and stuff. You know?
Overall, I think it improved. I think this split evolution is really cool. I would love to see more split evolutions. They don't need to be gender based. Just split them up. I want to see some variations.
I do like the gender based ones though.
Yeah, gender based ones are fun.
Yeah,
but. It improves the line.
Especially
100%.
when you have one that's like, you know, like with the routes line, you know, Gardevoir is more like traditionally feminine, right? So it just makes sense to give. Like with Glalie, it's not necessarily masculine, you know?
Sure. So let's go to that next. Yeah.
But with Gardevoir, it definitely was leaning feminine. So
so Snorunt kind of is like this little spirit that like gets lost in a blizzard, and then basically when it evolves, it just like becomes the ice that it was like lost in. Is that kind of what the story is?
Something like that. Frostlass is the same as like
Jinx.
the Gardevoir line, basically. It's just like it's the female variant kind of thing. It's not really a variant, but
what's cool about this is like it's not just like Glalie with lipstick. It is a completely different Pokemon.
100%. That's what I'm saying. Like it's not that, but it provides improvement to the line because it's a female take on what was already existing. So it's the same way as Gallade. It's like, did they need Gallade? No, but it provides a male take.
And retroactively, it kind of puts more importance, right? There's more to dig into. It adds more lore to Snorunt and Glalie. Like, I think if we never got Frostlass, Snorunt and Glalie would be kind of like forgotten because they're not particularly strong. I mean, I like the designs.
It all adds, but it is also very opinion based because like if it was a bad design, you'd be like, we didn't need this, you know, but I don't know.
What do you guys think about Budew in the Roselia line?
I think they both help it. I mean, it's totally a bud that becomes a flower, and then Roserade is just so cool. And Roselia looks to me like a Pokemon that is incomplete.
Yeah, Roselia is actually the one out of all of them that's like so bland. It's like, why did you exist? But then the other two give it a reason, for sure.
Yep, cool.
They both improve.
I'm on board. They kind of it kind of fulfills that elemental 3 stage that like Electabuzz is.
It's like, does it improve the line? They literally create the line. Like it wasn't a line before.
Yeah.
Just here's.
And I gotta say, Budew is so great because when it opens up the butt a little bit, it still has a red and a blue arm or leaf or whatever. Duskull, Dusclops, and the new Gen 4 Dusk Noir. What do we think?
It improves it.
Oh shoot, I forgot to put Dust Noir on the tier list.
Did you?
Oh, well, I was, at the beginning of this, I was gonna be like, I wonder which one Lumi forgot.
It's gonna be forgotten.
It's literally impossible to remember them all, Lumi. It's not just.
Yeah.
It's just like, how can you? It's just a slip up, human slip up, no matter what.
Yeah. Well, listen, if you went on this Wikipedia page, you would have also had Raichu in here, which would have been good, and you wouldn't have forgotten.
Anyway.
But I appreciate you making it.
No.
I think it improves Dusclops a lot. It just looks like Dusclops needs to become something bigger, you know?
Yeah, I feel like I like how Duskull and Dusclops, they feel like they are remains of a Pokemon or the remains of a human or something, right? You have the skull, and then you have the wrapped bandages, the ghostly mummy type of Pokemon. And Dust Noir, I'm just kind of like, what is it? Is it the clothes? Is it a spirit? Is it like fully leaving the human body? Maybe that's what it is. Because it's called, weird. What does it evolve with the Reaper cloth?
Mm-hmm. It's like a phantom in a cloth, but it also it's just very ghost. It's so ghostly, it's just a ghost.
Because its eye is up top, like all the other ones, but the actual face is on its like body, which is kind of cool and kind of creepy.
I will say, I think that Duskull could stand alone as a single Pokemon. Like it didn't need Dusclops and Dusknoir.
No,
I've never thought that.
I could see it.
I think I agree with you.
Duskull, I like how they were promoting Duskull in the lead up for the Gen 3 games. Like that was one of the promotional Pokemon.
I wouldn't know.
I thought you were going to say recently. Recently, it's been for the Halloween stuff. It's really cool looking.
Yeah, they always. I mean, that's one I think they always promote for the Halloween stuff. It's it is like of all the ghost types, I feel like the most Halloweenish.
Yeah, I think Dusknoir is pretty neutral for me. I don't Oh, it's not even on this list.
Yeah, it's an improvement.
It's about to be.
I think it's neutral for me just because
you're changing it right now.
Yes,
that's good because we have to make our own later.
Sure,
we should get cooking.
Wait,
Lumi.
Chimecho is kind of like a. I don't see the appeal, and I think it getting a baby.
Crap. Can you not add?
No, you
images?
can't.
Should be,
no, you have to. No, you can't add. You have to re-upload the whole thing.
Well, that is the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my entire life.
So
it happens.
What do you guys think about Chingling and Chimecho?
I would put Dusknoir, and honestly, I think I'd do no change. It might be an improvement, but I feel like I would say no change.
Yeah, no change. No change for me.
And we get Chingling, right? Like Chimecho was the first one too.
This is no change.
Chimecho was the first one in Gen 3.
It did not need this. It does not ruin Chimecho for me or anything, but it really doesn't need this.
I think it improves the line.
It actually might improve it.
I don't think so.
Chimecho
it doesn't even look like it evolves into Chimecho. So,
but that's kind of what's cool about it. I think Chimecho.
It's a bell.
Was just like
that's
you forget about.
That's a good point.
You forgot that Chimecho even exists,
and
then
it's
Chingling's
a bell,
like,
and it evolves into.
Right, and now you just forget 2 Pokemon exist
instead
of 1.
It spices it up. I like Chingling way more than
I'm kind of with you.
Oh, I do too, but I don't know. I think it's no change.
Is it supposed
very
to be
upset with myself for forgetting the freaking Dusknoir? I'm so mad at myself.
It's not a big deal. It's not a big deal.
Not at all.
All right, Pawniard, Bishop, King Gambit. This actually might be neutral.
This freaking hurts.
You think it hurts the line?
This hurts it absolutely.
Damn.
For me, it does.
It took a mobile Pokemon and made it sit.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy.
But
it's a commander. It's a king because it sits.
But it floats now too. Did y'all see in the anime? It's canon. It floats. It just floats sitting.
In the game, it's better that it floats because in the game it just
it just kind of drags around.
Yeah. All right, I'll put it in hurt the line because it is true. This is Bisharp was another Pokemon that like a lot of people have theorized. I've done it on my channel, right? Like give it a Queen evolution, give it a Rook evolution, give it a Knight evolution.
It still could get that. I mean, we talked about giving more gender evolution.
True.
It could now go, hey, only female Bisharp can evolve into Queen Gambit.
Here's the thing, though. It does make total sense. It's a Shogun, and like, it's a king, and people will get on your case about it. Like, it shouldn't. It does make sense.
Yeah.
This is weird. We skipped some.
Like
no, we didn't. Oh yeah.
No, we didn't.
Yeah.
No, we did. We did. It's all right.
Whatever.
Let's go. Obstagoon, Surfetch'd, Berserker, and Cursola.
I think they're later on because they're later on because they're regional.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
actually, we have time.
Applin, and we're not ranking Appleton and Flapple. We're ranking Dipplin and Hydrapple. I think these only help the line.
Disagree.
I like that they all split, and then I like how one of those splits evolves even further.
Nah, Dipplin,
we didn't
no change. Dipplin is no change.
Dipplin's a lot of change.
Hydrapple is, well, I mean, to the line, for me, it's a no change. And then Hydrapple, I think, hurts it because now Flapple, it made Flapple and Appleton irrelevant. It literally, literally hurt the line.
It is a big take, that one.
That's crazy.
I don't know.
I love
You're
Hydrapple.
looking at that as competitive,
I love that design.
But
I think that's a big part of it. I think that's a big part of it. It literally hurts Appleton and Flapple. It seriously, it objectively hurts them.
You're saying it overshadows the previous evolutions. I think the fact that there's so many options can only be a good thing. I think a lot of the Pokemon that we've ranked so lowly, it's because
I agree as long as they're equal.
Yeah, I think a lot of the Pokemon that we've ranked lower has only really been because there's no other better option. Mm-hmm. So I don't agree with that. I think
like another thing is that I disagree with this take because to me it's a variation, so it's a different story. But a lot of people like hate Pokemon like Surfetch'd for that reason because it makes the original Farfetch'd is irrelevant now. Why on earth would you ever want to use the original Farfetch'd? Because is there a sea of other normal flying types,
it's not about
this
competitive.
Farfetch'd evolves.
I don't think it's about competitive.
That's not a competitive standpoint, though. It's a literal, for one, it is a factor, yes. But also, that's not even like a competitive standpoint. That's just literally like gameplay-wise. Hey, I can use Applin that's going to evolve 2 times, or I can use Applin that's going to be a one and done. It's going to be more fun to watch my Pokemon evolve twice, you know?
Yeah.
Except Applin isn't that fun.
But I don't like Surfetched, and I have used just Galarian Farfetch'd before. And I like and that's not on this list, but I like Galarian Farfetch'd. I think it's really good.
Yeah, you are in the minority, I think, in that opinion. I'm with you on that. I think that with a variation,
it doesn't
a t-shirt matter. But I think that people overall are pretty unhappy with. They don't mind regional variants like Sneasel and Meowth, where like regular Sneasel and regular Meowth have an evolution, and they just have an alternate one with a regional form.
Yeah.
But like with ones like Farfetch'd and Linoon and Quillfish and Corsola, where they have the regional variant gets this addition, and the original one doesn't have any kind of addition, so it feels unfair.
Yeah.
Man, Lumi, why'd you do this, man? Now I'm agreeing with you.
That's what I think about Dipplin, man. I
agree with Dipplin 100%.
I love Hydrapple, but I just
problem.
I love Hydrapple, but I just feel that it does literally make Flapple and Appleton a lesser Pokemon in people's eyes. If you are a kid who is picking up Pokemon for the first time in Gen 10, you've never played Pokemon before, and you find out that your Flapple can evolve once or 2 times, which one are you picking? I promise you that little kid is not picking Flapple or Appleton.
Listen, you know what's crazy?
It overshadows.
I think all that literally hurts. I think all that does is prove how bad Flapple and Appleton are. And I was right the whole time.
No, because if it was like Applin,
if I'm that little kid, I'm
Flapple,
always picking
Appleton,
Flapple.
And Hydrapple. Like if it was Applin, then Dipplin, and Dipplin evolves into Hydrapple, Appleton, or Flapple, it would all be equal. You know, it wouldn't be. It's only not Flapple and Appleton anymore because the idea to go 2 more, versus 1 more is just objectively better.
You know what? In that case, though, I'm gonna say that both Dipplin and Hydrapple hurt the line. Because that's the problem, is Dipplin's actually the problem.
Sure.
If Dipplin didn't exist and it just was a 3-split evolution, then it would be fine.
Yeah, I think that's a fair argument, and I think I'm going to change my answer to be the same. Dipplin and Hydrapple both hurt the line.
I'm trying to think of a whole
What an insane thing, but yes, you're right, I think. It hurts the whole line as a whole.
I'm trying to think of this like thought process
it's
invalidates
not about
what we were
the
doing
design.
earlier. Yeah,
it's not about the design. You know, like even the Pokemon that we've placed in a lower tier, like Politoed and Blossom, at least they all offer an alternative. You know what I mean? Blossom has a different stat spread and a different typing from Vileplume. So it doesn't undo Vileplume. It just offers a different thing.
But I think I don't know.
Sure, Politoed is competitively better, but Poliwrath gets an extra typing. So that's a reason you might want to keep going with Poliwrath. But they're all Grass Dragon. Hydrapple's got more stats. Hydrapple, gets to be a 2-time evolution, where
really the stats
only once.
The stats are killer.
Because Flapple and Appleton didn't get stats to begin with.
Yeah, if they had similar stats, it would be a lot better. I wouldn't go with what you're saying.
Yeah, I agree.
It's crazy to me because this is a similar situation to how I'm going to feel about Duraludon and Archaludon. Like, obviously, Archaludon is an improvement, but I feel like I love Duraludon, and it was basically a pseudo almost. No, like
I know what you're saying.
Kind of like Tyranitar's counterpart, and now it's just like overshadowed by Archaludon, and I still like Duraludon more. So it's kind of the same.
Really? But we were having that conversation earlier with like Seadra, with Tangela, with Electabuzz. I think that's naturally going to happen. I don't think a new evolution hurts the previous form because you always have access to that. If you want, you can still use that old Pokemon. Yeah, this specific situation is a little confusing.
This hurts the line. this one hurts the line.
I'm glad I was able to change your mind on something. I'm proud of myself.
It's true.
It's just so convoluted. Like if these were just 4 separate evolutions, it's like, okay, who cares? You have a favorite.
Yeah, like imagine if they had just given it Dipplin in Teal Mask, and then Hydrapple is not a Dipplin evolution, but another Applin evolution in Indigo Disc.
Okay, here
because it's also annoying because Dipplin is in one spot in the decks, and then there's a few Mons, and then Hydrapple on the decks, and I hate that because they're the same gen. I get why Dipplin's not with Appleton and Flapple because it's a different gen, but they're the same gen and they're far apart, and I hate it.
I wonder if how Game Freak will play with new concepts that in retrospect kind of predict what they're going to do more widely in the future. I wonder if this kind of thing is something we could be looking at in future generations with other evolutionary lines.
Don't get me wrong, it is, I was going to say this at the end of all this as well, is they're still really cool. Like Hydrapple's still awesome.
Oh, absolutely.
So it's like does it hurt the line for me? Yes and no. It's very mixed because I still love Flapple and Hydrapple, but it's just for me because I love Flapple, it's still my favorite of the line. And so for me, I find myself, while I love Hydrapple, I find myself slightly resenting it because it's like Flapple should have this too.
But
a little bit, yes. A little bit, yes.
I'm just exploring the idea. If Mr. Mime, if there was one other evolution, this would line up with Dipplin, with the Applin line, right?
The difference, though, is to me, this is, at the end of the day, this is all opinion, but the difference is to me that Mr. Mime, the reason that has another evolution is a lot of people would agree with your argument, Dusty, but the reason I don't is because for me, it's not a variant, so it's a variant, so it's a different story.
Oh, you're right.
You're right. Changes with a variant. Like,
you're right. It's a
ordinarily, I will not have a choice to evolve Mime Jr. into either Cantonian Mr. Mime or Galarian Mr. Mime. Depending on where I am, I'm stuck evolving it into Cantonian Mr. Mime or Galarian. But with Applin, I always have a choice. I will always have a choice to evolve that Applin into a Flapple, an Appleton, or a Dipplin, and then a Hydrapple.
Yeah, so the Tyrogue would be a closer comparison where it's like, what if Hitmontop got another evolution?
Right. Or like some people kind of resent Pokemon like Glalie and Slowbro getting mega evolutions, whereas their counterparts Frozlaz and Slowking did not.
You know what's cool? So I scrolled all the way back up here because one of the first conversations we had on this episode was about Politoed, and I kind of like the idea now. I'm like, could we see?
Oh, he's going back.
Could we see future generations where they introduce a split evolution for not Poliwhirl but Poliwag, right? Not a split evolution for Primeape, but Mankey, because that is how evolution works. It could split at any moment. That is so cool. And we talk about how, like, if I could just monologue for a second, we talk about how Game Freak, it's like, oh, they have like 10 new Kanto, they only have 10 Kanto Pokemon left to give new forms to. But in reality, that would allow them to milk it for another 100 years, which is exciting.
Personally, too,
like literally 100
Personally, too, I think they should have done that with Routes. I think it would have been better if Routes had a split evolution that then evolved into Gallade.
I was like, I could Route. I thought you meant the routes in the game.
That's what I thought you said, too.
Oh, Routes.
There's an accent there. All right, guys. Literally, we need to wrap up right now. We skipped Probopass.
No, we're good.
We're not good. We have so many more.
We're good.
We're not good. So you're the one with the heart out. We're not good.
I can't see the bottom.
Hurts. We all agree with that, right? Probopass hurts.
Yeah, Probopass hurts the line. Let's just do this. Which ones can I touch on that are quick? I think Cursula improves the line.
I do Archaludon next because it's our last one on there that's a true evolution.
All right. I think it gave no change. I think it just didn't need to evolve. I like the stat buff, but it's like...
You know what? I'm going to say that too.
I'm just kind of like looking at it like, did I want this? Did I need it? I don't know.
But see, to me, it doesn't
to
prove
me,
it
looks. Yeah, it looks to me like Duraludon's. This is personal opinion. I feel like Duraludon's incomplete, so Archaludon makes sense for me. But
this I don't agree with.
That's just a debate of if you thought Duraludon was complete or not.
I'm saying strength-wise.
Strength-wise, it absolutely increases it.
It increases it, but it didn't need it. So it's just like... Dude. I'm just gonna put it in the
no change. Okay. Yeah.
Oh, but you see how these are like so different.
I'm just
scrolling, but they are so
wrap
different.
it up. Keep going.
They
just went to Lids and bought a fake mustache too. He went to the Halloween store. That's
different.
it.
Anyway,
let's see.
What's next on the tier list, bro? Not on this.
Oh, yeah,
I would just look at the tier list.
We've got Berserker.
I think it improves the line.
100%.
Yeah.
It creates the concept of,
Viking.
like Galarian Meowth was more feral too, so it gets this more feral, not smooth looking evolution. Yeah. So I think it improves.
I'm not
it.
even really
stands
thinking
up,
as
which
much.
is cool.
I'm thinking just up from normal Meowth, like it's an improvement. It's cool.
Oh, you know what? Actually, that's actually tricky because does Berserker even count if it is evolving from a Galarian form?
We've already had this debate. We had this debate with Mr. Mime, Dusty.
No, but Mime Jr. was there.
Yeah, but we did Mr. Rhyme too.
Yeah, but it originally it comes from Mime Jr., which shares DNA with Mr. Mime.
Sure, but it is still an edit to the evolution chain of this Pokemon.
Yeah.
Berserker is still an evolution to Meowth. A different Meowth, but Meowth.
A different Meowth, yeah. So what I like is that we actually get to see Meowth as if it evolves and doesn't turn into your classic four-legged feline. So I like that a lot.
Because Sneasler's this way too, and we ranked it.
Yeah, just because you guys will like it.
Good point. Farfetched, yeah. I
think Sirfetch'd is great.
I think it's an
improvement.
Huge improvement.
It's an improvement. Giant improvement. That's 2 for improvement. You move that up.
It does nothing for me.
It does everything, even objectively.
It's just such a goofball.
Not even design wise, Farfetch'd needed something forever. Yeah. But at the same time, it is fine as a standalone too. It was standalone for so long. I don't know. It's a nice little duck. It's the Murkrow thing. Like it could have stayed just a leak duck forever.
I think it's regional form.
But Sirfetch'd is awesome. So
I think factoring in the variation though, it just makes sense that it would make better use of that big leak.
Yes.
Sure. I think regional Farfetch'd is what I've always wanted from Farfetch'd. Just like a big leak. That's all I've ever wanted.
That's so weird because I'm the opposite. I feel the same about like the whole Hisuian Sneasel and Sneasler thing. Like Farfetch'd, the Galarian Farfetch'd just feels like it needs to evolve. Just like regular Farfetch'd does, but regular Farfetch'd needs to evolve into something else.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they have 2 different vibes to them, but they both feel like they need to evolve.
We've got, are we counting Clodsire?
If they had just given you Galarian Farfetch'd, what would you have felt? I would have been like, this is the most pointless thing ever and it needs to evolve. So
yeah, I 100% agree with that.
People would be outraged.
Anyway, yes, that's fair. It definitely needed an evolution. I just don't think it's too human for me. Like
Clodsire's no change to me.
Yeah.
Clodsire's no change?
Clodsire?
No.
I don't know.
I feel like you could have given me a Paldeum like Quagsire. Or
that would have been no change.
I feel like you could have called Clodsire Paldeum.
Evolution of Quagsire.
No, bro, it's very different. I think it's very different.
It is different.
It's different.
I think this is. I don't know. This is something where I'm like, Wooper should have just evolved into Clodsire. Standard Wooper could have just evolved into like a muddy Clodsire.
Like a split evolution. Yeah, that's possible. But that's just saying that we didn't need Paldean Wooper, which is true probably. But Clodsire itself as an evolution, I think it's awesome. I think it's definitely different from Quagsire.
It is different, yeah.
Does it improve the
That's what I'm saying. I don't think it improves the line.
It's better than Quagsire.
I don't think it oh, really? You think it's better than Quagsire?
I don't think it's better.
100%.
Nah, I think Quagsire's better.
I think this is going to be our next poll on YouTube because I think most people will say Clodsire is better.
Really?
Well, we gotta finish the fossils
I think most people say Quagsire's better.
Anyway,
put up that poll
I put it in improve. Yeah, I will.
All right.
I put it in improve.
Overquill, I don't care for that much, but I do think it feels like the most natural progression of a Quillfish.
Well, the Hisuian Quillfish, they even made it have shorter spines, so it looks more like it needs an evolution than regular Quillfish.
Sure.
Yes, that's how I feel about most of these, though. Most of the ones that are regional variants that evolve into regional ones, it's like they need to evolve. It's so weird. I still put it in improve, though. Yeah, even if it was just regular Quillfish.
Next would be Cursula.
Yeah, Galarian Corsola to Cursula. It is a cool concept. Again, though, this also feels like something where it's like, what if Corsola just dies and a spirit comes out of it and it becomes a dead it just becomes ghost type, just like what
I think
Coral
too. it's cool too because what it represents is Galarian Corsola is, you know, a result of like pollution and all, right?
Yeah.
So you've killed Corsola, but then what Corsola represents, because when it evolves into Corsola, it gets its own special ability that's called Perish Body, where basically if you touch it, like it activates Perish Song. And the thing that's so fun about that is what it shows is Galarian Corsola is you've hurt the environment. Corsola shows that, and over time, it'll come back to hurt you.
That's cool.
I just think Corsola itself is not like how I feel about all the other Gen 2 Pokemon. I feel like it is not good enough standalone, and it never has been. It's just like a random little piece of coral. You know, it's cute, but it needed to be more.
I do think this is one of those Pokemon that I think Corsola needs an evolution. I think
I was gonna say that. Yeah, I think this is one of those Pokemon that they could do a lot with the design. Obviously, just add more colors, showcase, or give it. I could even see it. Like, listen, if this, I feel like there's so many similarities between Gen 2 and Gen 7. Gen 2, if Corsola debuted in Gen 7, it would have like a different form for every island, for the different corals.
Sure.
That would have been fun.
I would like for its evolution to have a bunch of branches like Corsola and almost kind of look like a Johtonian Corsola in a way.
It's alive.
Absolutely.
A live coral.
That's bizarre if we like do this pivot and then it's like Johtonian Corsola. That's so confusing.
Right.
Another example of that is Zigzagoon. We talked about this in the beginning. We got Lanoon evolving into Obstagoon.
I think it hurts.
Change. I think it hurts the line.
I think no change. I don't think it hurts the line, but I don't think Galarian Linoon needed it, especially when we're looking at it in the context of Linoon never had an evolution.
Yeah.
Like, this is one where, like, Soul, like you said, you know, Galarian Farfetch'd, if they had just given me that, I feel like I would have been like, but this needs to evolve further. But if they had just given me Galarian Linoon, I wouldn't have thought, well, this needs something.
You'd be like, oh, this is complete. This is its regional form, and that's it.
Right. So I feel like...
Yeah, I agree with you. I'm putting it in no change.
Oh,
it doesn't bring anything to the table.
But I think it hurts. You don't think it hurts the line? It's like
I think
it turns your cute little Tanuki into a person, to a hairy man.
I will change it. Dusty changed my mind a little bit.
Just remember, it's
really
a man.
Dislike this. I really dislike it. So it's like it overshadows. It. But here's the thing: it overshadows both of the regional forms.
Yeah,
like
it does.
Everyone always
which are good. I like the first two.
Yeah, I love them. But everyone always thinks about Obstagoon, and they don't really think about,
I agree with
Linoon.
I agree with that. So if it was a cross-gen evolution to Galarian Linoon, like if Gen 8 gave us Galarian Zigzagoon, Galarian Linoon, and a generation or two later they gave us Obstagoon, I'd say it hurt it. But since we got them all together, and they were even revealed all together, it feels natural to me, and it feels okay. Yeah. But I do agree that Galarian Linoon doesn't need it, so that's why for me it's no change.
Well, but
it's a hurt for me.
It feels natural because the new line is all natural. Like it debuted all together. I just think when I look at regular Lanoon, I'm like, yes, I could see it turning into a honey badger or something, right? If it had a similar color, I could see it turning into a bear. I can't see it turning into a man that has articulating fingers and arms and it has a strategy for war. Like, I just want it to be like Ursaring. Like if we had an evolution for Lanoon that was like Ursaring, it's on all fours, but at the end of the day, it's still like a bear.
Yeah, maybe they thought it'd be too similar to Typhlosion like that.
Oh yeah, that could be it. All right, Basculin.
I think we agree that these are Basculin
is, or they help it. I mean,
guys,
they help it
incredibly. Yeah.
Yeah. And then we got forever.
Who do we have now? Runerigus? And that's it.
Runerigus.
Here's the thing. Next. I think helps. I'm neutral. I like Kofagrigus a lot.
See, to me, it helps because it's just like with Scyther. It's expanding on the lore that Ghost can possess anything. So.
Like
it's
this
weird actually
because
because it's kind of like Corsola or Farfetch'd. Like if they had just given us just a Galarian Yamask and it didn't evolve into something different, then it would be weird, right? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So it just needed to be there no matter what. It is the line.
It would feel weird if they called this Galarian Kofagrigus, because I'd be like, but it's not a coffin.
That's probably where it came from.
It feels like it makes sense, and I feel like it helps it.
And I do like Yamask holding an object from the larger object. Mm-hmm. Like holding a piece. Yeah, I guess it's holding the tail. So that works really well.
It fits in the region.
And still holding the tail in the final design too, which I kind of like.
That's really nice. I still think Raichu and all of those. Look at this.
I knew we were going.
I
back
know
to
they're
that.
different, but like,
look, here's the thing.
These designs are so
Marowak
different.
is so the exact same.
It's
Are you
not.
joking me?
One is ground type,
It's
the other one's
Marowak
fire ghost.
It's Marowak with a paint job.
Yeah, exactly.
It's so different, dude.
Flames.
It's
That's
so
it.
different. I think it only
same, bro.
improves the line.
I
It's
love
Marowak,
both
but
of them.
the third grader
recontextualizes
decorated
the
his
ghost
pet Marowak
lore.
for Halloween.
Yes, what
It's
you're saying
so
is
different.
very true, Dusty. But at the same time, it's the same Pokemon.
I don't think
It does recontextualize.
I think you guys are being
We're going by the rules of the universe, and the rules of the universe say that is a regional variant, not a regional evolution, not an evolution, not a pre-evolution. There's no evolution in that name.
I hear you, but the point of this podcast, right? We all started as theorists. What does that mean? You question what exists. If you're just if we just take everything for face value, it's code in the game, I cannot argue with it, then what are we doing here?
It's more than code in the game.
It is.
It is in.
That's what you said. It's code in the game.
Hey, Dusty, here's a question. What's that top Pokemon called?
This is what I'm talking about. It's Executor.
What's that top Pokemon
but
called?
when Executor...
Okay, what's the bottom Pokemon called?
When Execute evolves in a separate region...
What's that bottom Pokemon called?
It doesn't just get red leaves. It gets
what's the bottom Pokemon called?
It gets a dragon type. It gets a dragon type. You guys are ignoring the main thing that this Pokemon evolves.
And you're
so
ignoring
different.
the facts.
I'm not ignoring it. I recognize that it's qualified as the same Pokemon, right?
Hey, the Pokemon on the
but
bottom
it is different. It's
also
a variant.
called Executor, but it lives in a Alola. It is literally Executor. Both of them are Executor.
Do you guys understand where I'm coming from?
I don't have my glasses. Could you help me out and read what that says under the red Executor? What that says under it? It looks like Alolan form. Anyone?
It's okay, Dusty. We understand.
I understand your logic, and I don't disagree with you, but I also don't agree with you.
I think
I fully disagree.
At the end of the day, what I'm excited by are new entries to an evolutionary line that expand what we know about the Pokemon and also give up new possibilities for what could come. And I think can I finish? I think some of those are standard evolutions. Some of them are evolutions that get new evolutions. Some of them it's a regional step that gets new evolution that makes me think about the original Pokemon. And I think some of them are Pokemon like this, or regional forms of an evolution that are so drastically different that it's like
I was with you all the way until this last bit, but
I really don't see how you can see the
also a
difference.
point of management.
We're talking about
right?
semantics of what it's called.
But also we have to draw a line somewhere because if you're saying that this is an evolution, or a split evolution, which you're not,
I'm not saying it's an evolution. I'm not saying it's,
but it is an evolution. So you should be saying it is. But
it's technically
then we also have to
world
do
evolution
if we're saying
life.
cross-gen evolutions. Well, guess what? Riolu's a Pokemon that evolved into Lucario in Gen 4. In Gen 6, that Lucario can evolve Mega Evolution as a form of evolution a step further. So we would have to include all the Mega Evolutions. Over time, Cantonian Vulpix evolved in the Alolan region to become an Alolan Vulpix. So you're having to include too much. You have to draw the line somewhere. So we drew the line at the simplest point.
Yeah.
And so did Game Freak.
Yes.
Pretty much.
And so did Game Freak.
For the most part.
So,
but I will
any
say,
further complaints,
I will
take it up with Masuda.
I stand by what I said.
My favorite thing from this whole episode is that it's possible that we could get more Gen 1 evolutions.
Like, isn't it exciting that, like, what if Elekid evolves into a separate Pokemon and then a new branched evolution?
And then it keeps evolving into like a whole other line. That'd be incredible.
Scyther gets a new evolution that evolves again.
Well, Scyther, we need to get a new evolution. Actually, earlier I was
literally this is
I'm so glad we came back to this.
I want Scyther to get a gun.
Earlier when we were on Scyther, I held my tongue because we were moving on. But can we please get Scyther in Legends ZA and it gets a new evolution in Legends ZA?
What would it get?
Counterpoint.
What would it get?
Counterpoint.
I don't know.
Give me a Mega Cleavor.
No.
I know people say that, but imagine if it got a new evolution though, like another one.
I could see it getting.
I just want it to become new Eevee.
Fairy, Bug Fairy.
I think
You would hate
there's
that.
a lot of Pokemon. There's a lot of Pokemon that I
like
think are
Sylveon.
primed for this. There's a lot of Pokemon I think are primed for this. Like, you know, we talked about how Applin is a Pokemon that there's clearly a lot of things you can do with an apple, and also a lot of things you can do with like the worm aspect of it too. And like, think about Charcadet. We already see that it evolves with 2 different sets of armor. You can easily next gen go, okay, well this is a more
That's the next video we're doing.
armor. This is a more steel armor. This is
the next video. Pokemon that we think should have cross-gen
more evolutions.
Oh, that's not a bad
should be
idea,
defined.
We've
by
actually
multiple
done
evolutions.
a video of Pokemon that we think should get new evolutions.
No, but not new evolutions, but like split evolutions.
Split
specifically.
evolutions. That
Pokemon
one I
that
think
deserve
is a
to
good
have
idea.
a range of elemental evolutions.
I agree.
All right, guys, we're at 3 hours. This was we have a lot of stuff that we're not going to be doing today because we got.
I gotta go actually.
It's good to see you guys. For me. Peace out. Subscribe if you're new, and leave us a review. A lot, you know. I think my new goal. I want to get ranked. I want to like be top 50, top 20. I mean, I'd like to be #1 for a gaming podcast.
He wants to be part of the tier list. He wants to be in a tier list.
Yeah,
DustyGogoat.
S tier.
If you're listening to us on Spotify, if you're listening to us on Spotify or Apple, leave us a review. Appreciate you guys so much. Love you. See you next time.
Bye.
That's all I got.
That's
all I got.
Lumi, can you talk?
I could make it higher, maybe. That's
Lumi, you sound like you're too close now.
Hi.
Yeah, that's good.
You want? Let me get one more.
Is this better? Because I like to lean in to look. So is this better? Do I sound too loud?
No, you don't sound too loud. Just Soul was like a little quiet. All right. Well, we are recording, so this will be at the end of the episode.
Let's freaking go!
How'd you guys like the episode?
Where did Soul go?
Did you guys like it?
Where did Soul go? What happened to Soul? We lost our Soul.
Here he is.
Yay!
Where'd the glasses go?
I thought we lost you.
He can't hear us.
Whoops.
Oh.
In case anyone was curious, I asked a little question of the day in my Lumi audio vlog, become a member or patron.
Sure.
And the question of the day today was, if me, Dusty, and Soul were Ash, Misty, and Brock, who would be who? And they said that Dusty would be the overall vote was that Dusty would be Ash.
Nice.
Wow.
Because, quote, he says the weirdest crap, end quote.
One of my favorite lines.
Said,
oh, yeah.
No, I want to hear it. What is your favorite
One of my
Ash
favorite
line?
Ash lines is when, and I forget what the term is, but there's a term someone uses like a high school level, English, term or whatever. Sure. And Ash goes like, "What is that? Is that a new Pokemon?" And
I think I vaguely remember this.
Yeah, that's so great. Classic.
But they said Soul was Misty because of the hair. And they said I was Brock by default.
So I would say
that's so dumb. Those are not good reasons.
I would say
basically it's just Dusty. Because
I would say Soul would be Brock because he is currently looking for a wife.
Yeah, that might be a good reason. But they don't know
and
that.
They started going into the lore of it, and we're like, this means that Dusty destroyed Soul's bike, and Dusty and Soul have an unspoken thing. And
well, then here's the thing: Soul definitely can't be Misty because he likes bugs. And Misty.
Well, they said this is an alternate universe where Misty likes bugs.
So it's not Misty.
They would go that far.
You know what it is? I think it's. No, he's Brock. Could you be? Does Ash and Brock? Yeah, Ash and Brock travel with the other girls. So Lumi, maybe you're
Unova.
You might be
I'm
May.
so Tracy. I'm Tracy, bro.
No, you're not Tracy. You're Brock. You're Brock.
Brock says some crazy things too.
No, but Tracy's a.
Brock was my favorite.
He is calm.
And
Soul
he's an
is
artist.
calm like Brock. Like I could see him kind of sitting in the back and being like, "Yeah, Ash is screwed in this match."
Yeah, Ash is screwed in this
Brock
match
was
because
my
water
favorite.
is super effective against fire types.
Right.
He's writing a whole Twitter thread
and
describing
Soul, are you a good
matchup.
cook?
No, I'm not really good.
Yeah. I always thought
cook,
Brock
so maybe
was
I am
Italian.
Brock.
No, he's Japanese.
You thought Brock was Italian?
Yeah, I really did.
We could talk about that.
He's
in
always
Secret Power,
cooking.
that'd be fun.
No, I'm recording right now.
He's always cooking. He's got to be Italian because he's always cooking.
Let him cook.
I cook.
No
in a
one
different
cooks.
way.
Only the Italians cook.
All right, we're giving them too much stuff at the end of the episode. Let's get into the recording. All right, you guys ready?
All right. Ready when? Are you doing an intro?
I'm gonna do an intro offline, but I still will
All right,
recap for the audience. Just let me know when you're ready. I'm recording.
I'm ready.
All right.
I'm ready.